but I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
It was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars, and we like to say hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. This is the show where we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. The days we do that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And what are the things we're not allowed to talk about? You know what they are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. It's always been live. It will always be live. If you want to be part of the show tonight, we are streaming on Facebook, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls at any point during the show. If you want to give us a call and be part of this, dial this number, 702-957-1037. That is 702-957-1037. You can also go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. It has the podcast up there. It has all these social media links, the phone number, and the Discord link. Everything, one-stop shop, troubledminds.org. The Discord link, by the way, so we have a 702 area code, which is Las Vegas, of course, where we're streaming from. But we have people listening all over the world. So if you want to be part of the show, and let's say you live in Australia or you live in the United Kingdom, just go to Troubled Minds, click the Discord link, and Discord is completely free. Internationals will get you on there, and you don't have to pay a penny as long as you have an internet connection and all that stuff, right? Internet connection stuff applies, etc., so on. But anyway, that's what's going on. If you want to be part of another fantastic community that's all coming together at this point, go to fringe.fm/chat. There's another chat room there for the Fringe FM, and lots of fine folks in there as well, though it's commingled at this point, and lots of folks in both places are also in both places. So if you want to go meet some nice people and have good conversations that go on 24 hours a day, you could do worse than joining join the Discord. TroubledMinds.org. Click the Discord link. Get in there and say hi. All right. Lots of things to think about, lots to talk about, because, of course, this is the summer of saucers. But before we get into that and some of these bizarre theories we're going to go through tonight, let's see if we can get our uplink to Mars. As you know, Wednesdays bring our co-host Ash the Reptilian. So let's see if we can actually tune in. Beep, beep, beep. Earth to Mars. Ash, do you copy?
Hello, humans. How are you all doing tonight? The connection seems good. All my equipment is optimal, and I'm ready to here to talk about the weird and the weirder.
Weird and weirder is good by me. That's you're in the right place. Welcome to the show. I'm glad our uplink to Mars is piping hot. You sound good. You sound like your scales are all nice and oiled up, and you probably look really good right now too. But we don't have to talk about that. Let's consider the other things that we're here to talk about. So,
you're hitting on me, Mike.
Yeah, maybe
flattery will get you everywhere. I don't know.
You have to kind of.
Yeah, you should look at me first. Most humans just are paralyzed in fear when they get a look at me. But you got some weird ones every once in a while. They're kind of into it,
Yeah, well, just in case it does come down to some of these hypotheses we're going to be talking about tonight, some of these kind of out there theories, and we do have an actual takeover from the Martians. Well, I hope to be in the good graces, etc. So, like you said, flattery can get you everywhere. So actually, Ash and I were talking about what to do tonight in this show, and as you're aware, when Ash is on the show, we kind of do a little bit more maybe juice. We drink a little bit more of the maybe juice and kind of go out on some limbs. And the limbs really sometimes don't have any, thickness to them at all. But we traverse the limbs anyway and talk about some wacky stuff. And that's what we're doing tonight. So regarding the summer of saucers, all right, now let's see. You want to actually, let me get this started here. Let me get this started and then we'll go to this. So there's this thing, right? There's this thing on Reddit. I'm going to post this and you guys can check this out as we begin the tale, the saga of the summer of saucers. They're organizing something on this subreddit called Throw-A-Walian, like, Throw-A-Walian. And so they're calling this Saturday, the 17th, the National UFO Night Out. And what they're doing with this is they're saying, get your friends, get your cameras, and get under the night sky, which is fantastic to me because this is exactly the type of stuff that we've discussed on this show as part of the disclosure process, is that, we shouldn't leave it in the hands of the government. Organizing things like this through social media and maybe shows like this or other things, other places, Facebook or what have you, you can actually, let's say everybody gets out on Saturday night and points their FLIRs at the sky or their cameras or whatever they've got, and let's say we come back with hundreds of UFO photographs, right? I mean, like I've been saying, like we've kind of hinted, it means that disclosure can be in our hands, and it doesn't have to be in the hands of a government entity. So, just wanted to point this out. This is kind of where this is beginning, and so not just July 17th is the National UFO Night Out, and I encourage you to again join that if you want to be part of that business. We should all go out and maybe spend some time this Saturday to go out and take a look. But this continues with not just that. Since we're in the summer of saucers, we had the UFO report that just hit, not too long ago, a few weeks back. And now, well, is this the summer of disclosure? Is 2021 indeed the year of the UFO? And that's what we're talking about tonight. And so, of course, right, when we have a deadline like this, and maybe the 17th is the summer of saucers or disclosure or whatever's going on exactly with this, people have theories, and boy, do they have theories, eh? You want to brief us on some of the theories? Man, I kept hitting Ash with these crazy memes of the guy with the conspiracy, and he's got all the things up all over the board, and he's like waving his arms, and that's probably how people think I am. But anyway, yeah, what is going on with all this? There's a lot to this thread and the rest of this, that whole subreddit.
Yeah, so this is they don't call it a rabbit hole for nothing. There's just like you said, there is a sort of a thick tree trunk, and then branches going off in 50 million directions. But the convergence point is that, in this era and around this time, there's a bazillion conspiracy theories that kind of aligned with this year this time over these 3 years, specifically this year, and even more specifically this month, and even to a date, July 18th. So there's a lot of different materials and sources for that, whether it's like Nostradamus, crazy people having dreams, another person's an abductee, and then all these kind of theories converge around this timeline, around this time, which is only 4 days away from now, right? And supposedly all these potential things could happen. Everything from Big Blot 5 comes out, and tomorrow's a utopia, and we enter the Galactic Federation, to catastrophes, to destroying the planet, and then or bad aliens taking people away, and who knows. So there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of material. It's a big rabbit hole to kind of dive down. And Alan, Mike was like getting a little frustrated, right? Because it's like, well, which thing do we pick? Because we can't do them all tonight, so, which is understandable. So I think, we can start with like what kind of triggered this. It's kind of the cornerstone. And then there's a bunch of stuff we can kind of get into and just kind of free flow. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that we're on the verge of something? Do you like feel something in the air? Do you feel like something's going to happen? Like, that just kind of feels like it, right? With all this stuff kind of going on, and the post keeps moving forward little by little. UFOs are real now. There's videos of them, and then our culture, everything's changing so quickly. Are we like kind of leading towards something? This rabbit hole says yes, and it's going to be on July 18th. So crazy stuff.
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes. That's where we're at. That's where we're at tonight. All right, so
we are completely. That's exactly where we are. We're ancient astronaut theorists. Would that make? Wait, can't you just be ancient astronaut? Okay, so that there's ancient astronauts. So what do you say about like modern astronaut? Ancient. I guess they don't want to throw alien in there, right? That delegitimize it. So ancient astronaut sounds a little bit better. Anyway. Marketing, right? That's what it's all about. It's always the marketing. So okay. So the deal is this, right? So not only these weird Reddit threads, which again are rabbit holes upon rabbit holes. So do we have that mega thread? Let's see. Let's get that mega thread. Just to toss it out there so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It is absolutely bizarre, some of the things that they're being talked about in this huge mega thread, and it's based around this individual. Thank you for that. Called this guy is Throwawaylian, right? And I guess this all started in 2008. Is that right? When did this start? This was like 7 years ago or 8 years ago. This whole like huge theory began, and kind of is culminating in a bunch of the fevered pitch of actual disclosure, right? Like kind of like we've been saying this summer of saucers. Everybody's got that feeling that something's coming. Thank you for that link, Ash. Appreciate that. I'm dropping it in the chat. But this is kind of where we're at. If you just scroll down here, it's the different narratives regarding the alien contact and the event, the harvest, the gathering, and what might happen on July 18th, and which of course, right, when you get people that are, let's say, amateur Nostradamus types, you would expect that some of this is kind of gloom and doom, the end of the world type stuff, the rapture, and right, it all gets mixed in. We got the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and we have all kinds of theories about what's happening here. So, like I said, this is kind of the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about tonight. These bizarre, different, weird narratives, but there's a ton here about this July 18th business, meaning that maybe this is the day where maybe, we've talked about in the past that people will not believe the alien theories unless, the flying saucer lands on the White House lawn, right? And so some of these guys are predicting that if it's going to happen at all, July 18th is it for a number of reasons. There's some synchronicities they're kind of citing here. And I don't know. That's really not my forte, as you know. I do not discount the belief in ritual and that type of stuff. It's just not my expertise, so I don't talk about it a ton. But if this is what's going on out there, like some sort of large ritual with the media and this disclosure narrative and all kinds of things, then, well, maybe this is it. Maybe the Summer of Saucers, or like we said way back in January, is 2021 the year of the UFO, because it sure seems like
the media has adopted it as such. So yeah. You want to get into some of these theories or anything else to add to this, Ash? Oh, by the way, we're live. If you want to be part of the show, phone number's up 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Get your ass in here. Come talk to us about this stuff. But yeah,
Awesome.
shall we begin? Shall we begin with some of these theories, or at least the top one anyway?
Yeah. I forgot to mention. Hi, I'm Ash.
Oh.
On the Reptilian from Mars. I'm here every Wednesday, and Wednesdays I like to bring the alien stuff. Check out my YouTube channel, Ash the Reptilian from Mars, and I'm streaming more often and producing more shows and stuff. And this is the kind of stuff I talk about on my channel. And I'm not over the deep edge, but I'm hanging off that cliff. So if this sounds interesting, then check out my channel as well. And again, it's always a pleasure to be here, and thank you guys for tuning in. But yeah, do you want to start with the theories, or do you want to start with this guy's story? I can kind of go over it real fast if you want,
sure.
The trigger event.
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about this guy's story. I got a timeline here. And so this actually goes back to a very old Reddit thread. I'm going to just share the timeline here, and then I'll hand it off to you. Here we go. I'm pasting it in the chat. Go right ahead, sir. Carry on.
Yeah. Yeah, so 7 years ago, this throwaway alien it doesn't exactly say throwaway alien, it trips me up, but it's basically throwaway alien. I'm missing a few letters. Anyway, he posted something on Reddit, and he predicted that in 7 years would be the point of contact. And he claims that he was abducted ever since he was 12 years old, starting in 1987. Which kind of aligns with a lot of abductee sort of things, claims. But that, they would do some procedures on him. They would observe him, they would test him, but nothing too invasive like people say. He claims that, a lot of that is nonsense, or it's people regressive things or whatever. So his opinion, or his whatever he's posting, is that it's a little bit more of a positive experience, where he kind of interacted with these extraterrestrials. He learned a little bit about them. He asked them questions. They were saying things like, we're not really that interested in your planet. You don't really have anything that we want specifically. And it's that there's no kind of invasion sort of feel to it, right? There's no they're coming to steal our gold or our jobs. They're not coming to steal our jobs, right? So it gives a lot of interesting details, and you should check it out. But the gist of it is that he says that that they were very clear that in July 18th, 2021, 4 days from now, is the time that they would have mass open contact, and that they were preparing people for this contact. And that, it'll be on a wide scale. I'm looking at here, and potentially colonize the planet or induct us into whatever kind of infrastructure that they have. This guy says he's like straight from the source. He's been talking to these extraterrestrials, and that's his story, and that they've been abducting him for a while. And here we have tons of like comments from him, little one-offs and stuff. But this has been kind of basically pinned for everyone. Like, you keep track of all these crazy conspiracies, and the deadline is coming, right? It's like, well, this guy's probably making stuff up, but what if he isn't, right? Because it's going to happen really soon if he's not, right? So it's a pretty big moment. And then, you got the UFO videos and all this stuff, and you kind of feel it in the air, and you feel this pressure building. So, he made this prediction before the videos came out, before these agencies admitted that there's UFOs, before all of this information. So it just adds a little credence to it, adds a little pressure to that, right? That valve. It's a pretty interesting little conspiracy theory on Reddit.
Yeah, and so back in the end of 2013, this is when he posted the initial post here this began the entire conspiracy that's leading up to now. So as you're aware, right? Like if somebody makes a prediction last week and they're talking about it this week, it's like whatever, whatever. I mean, isn't that what we always do? What people are always doing? So like nobody kind of really cares. But if you start maybe saying dates 6, 7, 8 years out, and there's actual proof of it on Reddit that people have been talking about for quite some time, it gains steam, right? Then the like I said, the amateur Nostradamus types of the world start coming together and throwing the theories out, and exactly. Then Prince says on chat, we all gonna die? I mean, eventually. Yeah. There's my prediction. There's my Nostradamus prediction. Eventually, yes, we're all going to die. But
that's a pretty good bet, Mike.
You like that?
I mean, that's pretty good, man. Unless they show up and they make us all immortal, then
I lose.
Then you lose. Yeah.
but then I won, didn't I? But then I won in the end because, well, we're all not going to die. But anyway,
you just gotta wait.
You just gotta wait.
Gotta wait it out.
So anyway, like there's this weird, that weird conspiracy timeline where again, somebody way back in 2013 is making these predictions, and these predictions are coming to fruition now. They're happening this week, and then, again, like Ash said, 4 days from now, which again coincides with this other thing that they're kind of putting together with us everybody getting together for NUNO, N-U-N-O, National UFO Night Out, which is going to be Saturday night. So if there's going to be a thing happening, right, and we're going to all go out and look at the night skies on Saturday and take photographs, and maybe what if by some odd coincidence, Stephen Greer has said you can summon them. Well, what if we all go out together and we try and summon these things? What may happen? I don't know. That's what we're here to talk about and think about. Plus, there's a whole bunch of theories of what's going to go down with these disclosure type of, just predictions is what they are. Disclosure predictions. And they're as mundane as you can imagine. Like, nope, nothing's going to happen. All the way to, you guessed it, Project Bluebeam and some other stuff. So we're going to talk about a bunch of that tonight, and that's what we're doing. So if you want to be part of it and you have your own theory about what's happening in the Summer of Saucers or the Disclosure Project, as it were, or is 2021 the year of the UFOs, well, I'd love to hear from you. 702-957-1037. So we got a couple minutes here before we got to take a break. Anything to wrap this up, to maybe point us in the direction of some of these theories before we take the break, Ash?
Yeah, I just want to grasp some of these interesting things that he claims, and to add credence or not. For me personally, it takes away from it. But he was saying that the beings that he was around aren't naked, that you have to speak to them really loud, like an old person, like, yes, Grandpa, it's on, on the ship, that they can't really hear very well or understand English through their ears, that they like things about our culture, like bluegrass music. That he's claimed that he stayed with them for up to 3 weeks. A lot of weird stuff that that they have sexes and that he knows 2 of them. They don't eat people. Anyway, it's interesting story, right? And it's like, is it BS? Probably, but I promise you, when July 18th rolls around, you can be like, right? It's just a little bit, right, in the back of your mind. So what's going to happen? Is it going to be the rapture? Are the aliens going to come down? Are they going to take the cows and think that they were the sentient life the whole time? I don't know, man, but there's a lot of converging theories, and then I guess we'll get into those after the break, right?
Yes, definitely. That's what we're going to do. So that's the deal tonight. We're talking about these weird theories regarding, and when I say weird, we're talking about alien disclosure and how this is going to go down. There's been this prediction by this throw-away-lian guy that, by the way, his Twitter account has now been deleted. I'm not sure how long that happened. I was trying to trace back to the source here, and it's all become legend, internet legend, hearsay, Reddit rabbit hole stuff, right? Once you delete the account, well, there it is, right? The CIA got him, right? Who knows? But so this guy actually says, like Ash was saying, he's been abducted by aliens multiple times. He's been kidnapped by the government, the CIA, etc., so on. So I don't know, right? And then the Reddit account disappears years later. It gets deleted. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know what to think about this other than it's fun to think about, fun to consider these possibilities, and that's what we're doing tonight. And again, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Ash. We're talking disclosure and some of the ways this might go down in a sort of fun, Nostradamus amateur sort of way. So if you want to be part of the show tonight, this is Troubled Minds, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. give us a call, and we'll be here for you. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds after the break. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the Reptilian from Mars, and we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, DLive, and Periscope. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're taking your phone calls. Tonight, we are discussing the Summer of Saucers and the predictions for July 18th. Do you think disclosure is upon us, as some people on Reddit are saying? Some of these viral Reddit threads. Ancient astronaut theorists say yes. Well, that doesn't really matter much to me. But what you think, that matters immensely. Because that's what this show's about. We get together and discuss these things, and what do you think is on the way? But let's see if we can establish our uplink back to Mars and get in touch with Ash, the Reptilian. Beep, beep, Earth to Mars. Testing 1, 2. Are we there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
All right, welcome back to the show. All right, so we've got some theories to get into. Anything to kick into this that maybe we missed in the setup that we maybe should talk about before we get into the weirdness, the super weirdness? Because it's coming. It's on the way, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, we're gonna be swimming around here for a second, but just to kind of reiterate, we got this UFO videos coming out. Oh, and there is one thing: the official ambassador to Congress about extraterrestrial matters, forget his name. He was saying that they wanted to get these materials out prior, and I think a senator also mentioned the same thing, and that because of Trump, whether you're on his side or not, it doesn't matter. You can agree that during the Trump administration, the news cycle was fairly congested, and that they had wanted to get some of this stuff out prior, like a year or two earlier than it did come out. So is there some sort of, a commenter mentioned it was supposed to happen last year. Maybe we're behind schedule, right? Maybe something will happen and we weren't quite prepared for it, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Again, if this is true or not, we're drinking maybe juice, but maybe. And then one more thing to add credence to it is that, remember the guy the Israeli security officer who mentioned there's a galactic federation of worlds, and that humanity needs to chill for a little bit first, right? Which also kind of corresponds with getting the UFO stuff out and get people ready. Regardless of whether or not the story's true, but there is a certain something in the air, right? And I've noticed an uptick in interest in this kind of subject. And so, yeah, let's get into it and talk about all these crazy things that could happen, right? Like, oh, man.
Definitely. So that security officer actually that is Anjali on Gaia, and that's from Twitter. We did that Reddit thread with her a while back that she'd actually had contact with aliens, if you recall, that she met them in a cave in Arizona somewhere that she's not disclosing the location. But here's her actual Twitter, and she's been saying recently that she's going to put out a press conference and actually be part of whatever's going on here, that this disclosure narrative or whatever it happens to be. And so that's her Twitter if you want to check out some of the information that she's been saying recently. And so when we first talked about it, she was kind of an anonymous figure and nobody knew who she was. They said she was verified by some of the people on Reddit, the moderators or whatever. But since then, she's actually got her own YouTube channel now, and she's been on video, and she's been doing all kinds of different interviews, not a lot, but more active on the Twitter sphere. But she says that she's got an actual news conference planned to basically tell us what the aliens want us to know. So, well, we're looking forward to that, and that's part of this, hopefully. So anyway, let's get into this. Now, as you guys know, we talk about yeah, right? Did you know that? That's coming.
No, I did not know that. That's like,
yeah,
it's just bold claims,
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna have a press conference, you may as well have something to say. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah. All right. So as you guys know, we've talked about this alien invasion, the false flag alien invasion. We've talked about Project Bluebeam on and off on this show. And not only that, Dr. Stephen Greer actually put that documentary out recently where he was discussing that Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, those guys are part of a false flag threat narrative operation to actually lay in some sort of fake alien threat invasion sort of situation, right? So interestingly, right, it's like, okay, well, false flag alien threat, Project Bluebeam, big whoop, right? Well, but this thread has not one but several scenarios for fake alien invasions. So let's start with the first one, shall we? Why not? Why
sure.
not?
Yeah. Why not? Exactly. And so all the players in this, by the way, there's usually like a bad alien group, a good alien group, the government, and then us, right? Those are like the four players, and they're just like mixing them all around. Oh, and then there's like, the Comet or the Earthquake or something. I guess that's another faction. Just killed everyone or whatever. But do you want to go or I go? Or
yeah, you take the first one. The fake invasion. Let's roll with that. I'm going to link this again. You guys can follow along if you prefer. Go right ahead, sir.
All right. Yeah. So a classic, right? This is a conspiracy theory classic. Is the fake alien invasion, right? So I have a video about this on my channel. It's mostly Stephen Greer talking about this, and Greer's been tooting this, at the top of his lungs for the last 10 years now. But yeah, some believe that the governments will stage an alien invasion and using their alien reproduction vehicles, their secret tech, right, that they probably got from aliens, pretend to fight aliens, do a bunch of damage to the planet, probably take out a bunch of annoying people at that point and other annoying factions and whatever. And then, and reduce the population and then usher in the classic New World Order, right? The pyramid, the New World Order. And this is the fake alien invasion. And, if you're looking at the UFO videos and all this stuff, I'm not saying they are, but it's like, they're kind of setting up for it, right? I mean, it's potentially. So this is one of the things that supposedly will happen around this time, July 18th.
Right. So, and this is a whole list of theories that we're talking about. The July 18th, July 18th. What are they calling this? There's like a term for it. Oh boy. Right. It's something like that. Oh man. It's something like that, isn't it? July 18th, anyway, 18th, July 18th.
Oh yeah. It sounds like some Star Trek stuff, like like a salute, like July 8th, you do a little bow and you have your fingers up. July 8th.
Right. Something like
I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's
some cult
like
stuff.
Yeah, exactly, like some cult stuff. Funny enough, it says on the top of these threads, it's like, "Oh, disclaimer: we're not trying to start a cult or anything like this."
Oh, really?
Yeah,
man, nailed it.
Yeah, go back to the very first one. Yeah, and they're like July AT. There you go. Thank you. Bailey says July AT, AITEE, July AT. There you go. All right. So then, notably in the first fake alien invasion, right? They're the UFOs are ours, and they're going to be piloted by actually people, and they're going to attack us and become whatever it is, and that's what's going on here. So it is sort of this, again, just like Ash kind of said, a fake alien invasion, kind of classic Project Bluebeam style, where the government's kind of be behind these things. And again, these are theories. These are sort of predictions based on this group of people on Reddit. There have been kind of think tanking, right? I think it's interesting that you say like a Washington think tank, and you think black budgets and like closed door meetings. Well, you can have like Reddit subreddits that are think tanks now. So that's what the internet does to the world. Yep. So, so that's good stuff right there. But in any case, a conspiracy theory classic, that maybe the day is July 18th. I copied that, Ash. I got your message. So July 18th is going to be the day where this goes down. So what do you guys think? As always, we're taking your phone calls all the way through this. And do you think there's anything to this? Is this just a little more tongue in cheek? People kind of guessing about the future, and all kind of up in a hizzy because it's it's a few days away. Like, this is literally just a few days away, like 4 days now. So if you want to be part of the show, what do you think about all this stuff we're talking about tonight? And we're going to try and keep it light enough that we're not going to be like the world's ending on July 18th. So we're gonna try and keep away from doing that, because I don't like doing that anyway. But that's what a lot of this stuff is. A lot of this is kind of predictions from a dark place. So we're gonna try and keep it from there. But what do you guys think about this? 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, and we'll put you on the show. Simple as that. All right. So let's go to the next one then. What's the next one where we have something that's maybe good news, not necessarily Project Bluebeam. All right, let's see.
All right.
What else?
No.
I'm not sure
okay. All right, let's do the harvest.
All right.
Right? Yeah. That's the spiritual shift harvest, number 8. So, you want to talk about this one, or?
Yeah, I got this. Okay, so this is again from this Reddit thread, Throwaway Alien, and they're talking about they're kind of setting us up for this disclosure, some of these disclosure narratives and what's going on here. So we're going to go with number 8 here. So the first one that we talked about was the classic Project Bluebeam, where the alien fakes the invasion, the U.S. government fakes the invasion, flying alien reproduction vehicles, attacking people, and then claiming that, we have to lock down the world because, well, they're here. Well, let's go to this one. Number 8 on this list is called a spiritual shift. And this is more of like more like the, I don't want to say the rapture of sorts, but kind of like that, right? Maybe like the awakening of the population of humanity, the age of Aquarius type thing, right? So let's go with this. So a strong energy shift will happen on Earth. Those with high vibrational level will ascend into a 4D and 5-dimension reality, whilst the others will die in the process because they won't stand the change. Some say it's a sudden event, others say it's a long process, but will get more intense by the end. So that's very biblical. That's very end of days right there. But there is good news if you have the high vibrational whatever's going on with that. I don't even know how to really define that, because I'm low vibrational, as you can tell. But right, I mean, all you got to do is listen to this show for like 10 minutes. You're like, yep, this guy's low vibration. I'm out of here. but that's the good news. So it is kind of in line with like a biblical rapture scenario where, the chosen will ascend to heaven, and everybody else will remain behind for the conflagration, as it were, for the fire and the brimstone. So hopefully there's enough of us out there that actually have this actual vibrational status, whatever that happens to be. Like I said, defining that to me is difficult because I can barely vibrate on the third dimensional level. So once you start talking 4D and 5D, I don't know. But I don't know. Does that sound a little biblical rapture style to you there, Ash?
Yeah, I mean, I've participated in this. Is kind of what do they call this? New style, new age, right? This is a kind of a new age potential belief where people believe that we're all kind of like souls in a cosmic entity consciousness kind of thing, and that because cosmic something about like we're moving through dimensions, or there's more cosmic radiation, and that basically if you can't sync up at a higher vibration, which is like a higher vibration is just like a, I guess, more godlike sort of state of being, like Buddhist monk meditating, floating kind of thing, that people believe a variety of things, that maybe the bad guys will all get deleted, and that other people will just not move up as far. It's like an opportunity to get further ahead in the line of like spiritual consciousness sort of thing. And I don't actually know where this material really stems from, but I think there's like a lot of channelers and people like that who kind of participate in that. So I know some of you guys have heard this stuff before. And if you know any more about it and you want to talk about it, please call in and tell us about it. But I don't think Mike and I are pretty, like he mentioned, we're low vibration. We're not very proficient talking about this. But it's a belief, right, that something was going to happen. So let's I mean, you could take that as good or bad, right? That's in that spectrum, everyone dies except for like 5 people, or we all move forward, and some people move forward better than others, and it's like a variety of things that can happen. Half of this list is alien invasion.
I was noticing that it's all going to end in an alien invasion, guys. That's it. That's the predictions. But so it's not just necessarily how it goes, or the fact that it's going to go down like that. So the predictions say it's how they're going to go down. There's many different ways here. Like I said,
Right.
this is again, what are we calling this? I hate to call this Ash Wednesday, is what they're saying in the chat.
That's funny.
That sounds very blasphemous. So maybe we won't call it that. But it is.
Do your
listed,
3 Hail Marys, worship me. I am your Lord.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Reptilian from Mars, worship me. I must see it in the chat.
Yeah, let's not do that. All right. But that's what people are saying in the chat. I thought it was funny enough to mention. Okay. So anyway, as you can tell, if you just look at the screen, if you guys are watching the stream, we're not even like a 3-dimensional reality at this point. I'm actually like on a 2-dimensional screen. For all you know, I'm AI, and I'm, kind of regurgitating what Reddit wants you to hear. So in any case, 2-dimensional reality
right now, guys, just like just pixels moving back and forth,
exactly,
vibrating,
right. Exactly, low vibrational, by the way. All right,
low vibration,
super low vibration. Okay, so again, let's go back to this. So the first alien invasion was, the government staging the alien invasion, where alien ships will make a worldwide reveal, and then the things will escalate into an armed conflict with the military, of course. But the military is the one behind the alien ships, and instead, well, here we are. Alien invasion. The governments take over. Here's alien invasion hypothesis number 2. Let's go with this, Ash. This is the number 2 on the list. The believers of this narrative say that the government will what's that say? Collaborate. Whoa, stop. Collaborate and listen. Will collaborate with a malevolent alien species to orchestrate a false invasion. So, okay, now the government's going to collaborate with a malevolent alien species. And this kind of goes back to the Anjali and that sort of, galactic federation type thing, where there's a faction of good aliens, a faction of evil aliens, and the evil aliens are coming to get us, and the good aliens are somehow working with governments to stop this. But so what this one is saying is that the governments at large will team up with the bad guys, the bad aliens, the malevolent species. Both the military and the aliens will pretend to fight each other and cause heavy casualties on both sides to make it look as real as possible. Then world governments will then urge mankind to unite as the only solution to win against the invaders, but it's just a manipulative trick to establish a global totalitarian regime, plus a soft takeover of Earth by the bad aliens. Holy smokes. I'm not sure there's any good news on this list, Ash. There's no good news here.
There's some good ones. There's some good ones. But, the thing that it is like, this is the thing, and this has been the mystery, the annoying crux for all conspiracies, is what is the relationship between the government and the aliens? That's the ticker. If you know that explains a lot. It eliminates half this list, or you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that we don't really know. So you got to speculate, is the government on board? Are they not on board? So scenario 1's government versus government, no aliens. This one's aliens versus government, but it's fake. It's all fake. But it ends in New World Order, and that the commonality is the New World Order. It's like, you heard Ronald Reagan say this in one of his speeches. I often think what would how humans can kind of put aside their differences if we had an extraterrestrial threat, right? And so this is an idea that perpetuated that time period where that New World Order language kept coming out, and you just know, you were like, that's what these guys want. That's what they described. That's what they talked about. And then, now they're talking about the Great Reset, the fourth turning, that 2020 seemed like a deadline where they wanted to use catalysts to kind of change the system, change our structure of how we are, and maybe with the COVID, they see it as an opportunity, and maybe there'll be more that they have in their pocket. These are things are called false flags, where they use these to trigger change very quickly, and the government, these entities, are signaling that they want this change. So it's just adds a little bit more pressure to this kind of like, the air is thick, right? With suspicion. worry. So yeah,
with worry. Monochrome adds in the chat here that I don't think everyone dies. It's like a split into parallel universes, and that was with the number 8 there with that we talked about, with kind of like the ascension process of how the aliens may be involved in that. So there you go. There's a positive, happy ending without fire and brimstone and biblical eschaton. So I like that. I like that maybe we split into parallel universes, and I don't know. Is that more actual? What would you call that? Universal division of sorts. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the harvest, the transition, just going to 5D density is what they say. It's like, it's coming by, and if your spirit's high enough, you can catch and you can go with it, and then you kind of transcend the sort of lives that we live, and you're on a more spiritual plane. But yeah, anyway, there's a lot of theories just within that theory, right? So thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, and actually, another clarification. What's up? This is why we do it live, guys, to read the chat and deal with you and hear what you have to say, because, again, right, I'm just me. We got this reptilian from Mars that probably is just catching up to pop culture here, and doing the best alien invasion we can. But if we get you guys, we get some clarifications on some of these ideas. And Bailey adds in to continue to that other thought, it's not a positive happy ending. The low vibration ones are dealing with the archons and end up slaves. History repeats until people ascend. Okay, well, that doesn't sound as good for us low vibrational types, does it?
Yay! I get to have slaves. Nice.
Oh, geez. Now you've done it. You said the key word. Now we're taking off the internet. All right.
No, servants. Yeah.
Paid staff, a living wage, healthcare.
Yeah, the check's in the mail.
Right, the check's in the mail. There it is. All right. So anyway, all right. So we're talking about all kinds of craziness tonight, and so there's these predictions, right, for July 18th, July AT, they're calling it AITEE, and of course, kind of culminating just before that on Saturday night, the 17th. It's going to be the National UFO Night Out, and so they're trying to organize here on Reddit and some other places to everybody get out and watch the skies on the 17th, which is Saturday night, and see what kind of photographs you can get. And like I said, it's kind of a good thing in my opinion, because, well, how else are we going to get disclosure, right? If we get enough people taking pictures and looking at the sky, we don't need the government to tell us a damn thing, do we? So there we go. That's what we're looking at, the 17th, and then all these predictions we're talking about are from a Reddit post that started 7+ years ago, and now we're kind of culminating in this weekend for possibly, well, I hate to say it, but the end of times, the end of days, or the ascension, or the age of Aquarius, or yeah.
Oh yeah, the age of Aquarius. That's another buzzword. Yeah, yeah.
Is that going to get us taken off the internet as well?
Welcome to the age of Aquarius. Right? There was like that broadcast on that news thing. You have but a short time to learn to live in peace, for you are entering the age of Aquarius. Yeah, it was like some news station where their signal got taken over, and it was like Ashtar of the Galactic Command.
Oh yeah,
which feeds into this conspiracy. They see they're all connected. Maybe that meme you kept posting where, what is it, Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, with the conspiracy theories on the wall, and they're all connected with dots. That's this one. They're all connected.
It's all connected. You're listening to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange here. We're here with Ash the Reptilian from Mars, your co-host, and we're talking about these strange predictions for July 18th, alien invasion, ascension, all kinds of things. What do you think? Love to hear from you guys tonight. The phone number is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Give us a call. Love to hear your thoughts on this, and we will be right back with more discussion about July 18th and the predictions for what might happen in the disclosure world. Don't go anywhere. Be right back with more.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands, outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars. And hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. This is the show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We are live, streaming on Facebook, D-Live, YouTube, and Periscope. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we're talking about aliens tonight, of course. It's not always aliens, but we're kind of alien heavy recently because it is the summer of saucers. We did have the UAP report unclassified recently, right? This just went down, and as many predicted, it was, in my opinion, a nothing burger. And well, now we know it's not Russia or China. Well, no kidding. No kidding. But anyway, before I digress, before we get into any of the rest of that, let's see if we can tune back into Mars. What's up? Beep, beep, beep. Earth to Mars. Ash, do you copy? Do you copy?
Roger that.
Yeah.
Earth human.
Yeah.
How are you doing tonight?
Fantastic. We got a good show going on, and we're talking about, what are we talking about? You want to maybe introduce yourself and then give us the rundown, the recap of where we're at as we continue talking about this stuff?
Yeah, my name is Ash, and I am the reptilian from Mars. I run a YouTube channel about crazy conspiracy theory stuff, mostly aliens. That's kind of my interest and my present occupation. I reside on Mars, and I watch your human culture, and I dial in on every Wednesday for the show. And we are talking about a potential July 18th event, the event, disclosure, opens contact. And it all stems from this guy who posted on Reddit, and 7 years ago, claiming that he talked to aliens, and he was in the knowers of knowing or something, and that he this is the time period it's going to happen. And actually, I was looking here, and he came back later and broke his silence and claims that he was eventually taken by the aliens, and that's why he, like, permanently, and that's why he confirmed his date, that he closed his account. And again, yeah, he confirmed the date, that date is the date, and that we will all know the truth by then. So that's throwaway alien on Reddit, and this super post is what we're talking about tonight.
And that day is July 18th, which is Sunday, which is just a few days away. TikTok on the clock. And, some of these predictions, too, are a little dark. Some of them are end of the world alien invasion style. Others are, sort of that Age of Aquarius ascension type of thing, whereas it's been explained to us in the chat there that it may not be sort of the rapture, but it is maybe a splitting of realities where maybe the higher vibrational folks move on to the higher, better reality, and then unfortunately some of us dullards like myself, and I can't speak for Ash, but I'll say for me, unfortunately we'll be stuck with the Archons or something to that effect. So there we go. That's where we're at tonight, kind of talking about some predictions, and this July AITEE is what they're calling it, July 18th. So all this prediction stuff started years ago, and so it's kind of coming to a head now. If you've never heard of it, well, that's okay. You're in the right place to kind of talk about this stuff. But we do have a phone call, so let's go to this phone call real quick, and let's see who this is, and then we'll keep on trucking talking about this. Anything to add before we take the call, Ash?
No. I mean, there's some more stuff in this thread, but we'll get to that after the call.
Okay. Yes, we're going to go through this Reddit thread with a fine-tooth comb, but before we do that, let's go to this phone call. All right, you're on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. What's your first name, and where are you calling from? Oops, I'm sorry. I think I muted it way back. Sorry. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. That was my fault. Now we can hear you. Your first name, where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Mike. I'm in Colorado. How are you guys?
Mike in Colorado. Doing great. Doing great. How are you, my friend? First-time caller, I believe?
Yeah, first-time caller. I'm new to your YouTube channel, and I'm new to Fringe FM, which I like a lot. And there's allegedly a ton of alien stuff out here in Colorado in the mountains, and I grew up a little bit in the mountains for about 10 years and never saw a thing, which is interesting to me. But the reason I wanted to call, I'm in your YouTube chat, and I keep hearing this raising your vibration thing. And I'm just curious if anybody's got real good information on it, because it seems like a misnomer to me. I think for me to raise my vibration, I would like to be able to control my liver or control my stomach or something that my body is emitting. And what I kind of think it really is changing your mind. The mind is the interface to this realm. And if you change your mind about things, then you can see it more clearly, or you can understand, like the thing that we went through last year. Some people got it in March and April, and some people still don't get it. And if you understand it, I think that might be what they're talking about with raising your vibration. And I'm really curious, because I've always felt like such a dullard when it came to me raising my vibration. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think unfortunately the short answer is it's complicated. Because this is sort of like the basically the ascension, right? The spiritual ascension method, and I believe it has a lot to do with diet. It has a lot to do with the way I understand it. I'm not an expert here. This is just from hearing other people describe it, and I know we have experts out there in the chat. So if you guys can help out with this, I appreciate that a lot. Or if anybody can call in maybe after Mike here and give us a more expert explanation. But I'll give you my layman version. It has to do with all those things. With your diet, it has to do with kind of being aware, like you stated, maybe allowing your mind to have better control of your bodily functions, more like kind of like the Wim Hof breathing methods, things like this, where you can kind of regulate your nervous system, and kind of like mind over matter, but not just saying it, practicing it, right? I think that's really what it comes down to. And so and as a result of doing that physically, it allows you mentally to be able to experience higher perceptions of things that normal people can't see, can't achieve. And I think that's what it is. Like I said, kind of a ham-fisted layman explanation. But I think that's what we're looking at here when people talk about raising their vibrations. And it's more of a mind over matter type situation, and that we are not, kind of like Yoda said, we are, actual luminous beings, not this crude matter. And so it's kind of ascending past the fact that we're just kind of clay golems or monsters or whatever this happens to be, meat puppets. That's what it is. So Ash, you want to chip in anything there?
No, I mean, there's a lot of different religions that talk about basically the spirit, right? And that the ramifications to that is that there's something more to reality, and that you are like some sort of vessel between your body and your spirit, right? You're like your soul wearing a meat suit, and that if you're based on like your beliefs, and you mentioned diet and all these kind of things, you can kind of achieve a higher plane. Monks talk about rainbow body and all this kind of stuff. So it's been echoed in a lot of religions and different things over time. And it's kind of like a new age way of describing an old concept. And and that's supposedly there's when you resonate at these levels, like you yourself vibrate, right? You're all matter or spirituality or whatever has like kind of like a frequency, and that you become incompatible with different frequencies depending on what it is. So that's the idea. I don't know. I think there's a lot of there's like some age-old wisdom that's like, to me, is common sense. Like, be a good person and try to achieve more, and so you can get that kind of that feeling, right, of transcendence or whatever you would describe that as. But I think it's like a new age way of talking about some old shit stuff. Sorry.
Now you've done it. Yeah. How's that for you, Mike? Does that help you out? Maybe. Like I said, we're not experts.
I totally appreciate the input, because there's a lot of different ways to nail down a 2 raising vibration or 2 simple words in the English language. And there's a ton of ways to go at it and a ton of ways to look at it. And the more I can hear from people like yourself and from Mars, I think it's really interesting. And it does help. So, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate the broadcast. I hope that you just keep going with what you're doing. You're doing a good thing over here. It's not only entertaining, but it is educational. And with that, I will tell you guys thank you and good night.
I appreciate the call. Thank you. Mike from Colorado, first-time caller. Good stuff. Good stuff. See, it's as simple as that. If you want to call, we will be nice to you. And it's okay. Like we have the conversation as, I always say, agnostic, meaning that not that we don't believe in this or that, but that we have an open mind to the beliefs of all the things. And so some of that is kind of tongue-in-cheek and we'll laugh at ourselves. But some of it's deadly serious. And it just depends on the way the conversation goes. And most important, we don't want you to believe anything we're saying, meaning that it's the most important thing is for you to believe what you want to believe. You select your reality, and that's really what this is all about. So thank you for the call. Fantastic stuff. I love first-time callers. And speaking of first-time callers, if you want to be, if tonight's your night, well, we have one tonight. Maybe we have more first-time callers. So you want to be part of the show? Give us a call. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org. Click the Discord link, and we do have another phone call we can take here in a sec. Anything to add on to what Mike was saying in Colorado there, Ash, before we take the next phone call?
No, just to kind of reiterate what we were kind of talking about is there's this kind of new age belief about that, right? Where there's going to be like this ascension or something. So, again, like Mike said, we're not experts on it. I don't, I keep tabs on, I believe everything and nothing all at the same time. I don't know, but it's important to be curious about this game we're playing, whatever we're in, right? You hear all kinds of crazy stuff. And if you're the kind of person who's listening right now, you're a curious, open-minded person. So good for you. And thanks for tuning in. And let's see what someone else has to say. Great call, by the way. Very professional. I loved it. Yeah, he's going to take my job here in a second.
Yes, indeed. Mike, get in touch with me offline. We'll talk about replacing Ash.
Hey, well, what? I was joking.
I'm just kidding. All right, let's go to Paul in New Hampshire. What's up, Paul? How are you, my friend? Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, you had me cracking up there for a second. Great show tonight.
Thank you. What's on your mind, my man?
Hey, it's kind of funny. I'm going to roll with what Mike said. I had some other stuff to think about too. Before I get into this, guys, I think you kind of know me. Before anybody, it just takes me overboard. It's what it is. I'm kind of known as the George Carlin of ufology. And with that being said, I love what Mike's saying here. He's got a great thing that he's talking about. I look at it kind of like what's been happening in the ancient alien theory, the Akashic record, and then I go to being a musician. And I think about the DNA change we're going through, and people are waking up. When you talk about vibration, to me, I think of two things. That's vibrato on my guitar neck, and maybe a good night with one of the groupies. But I can't go that deep into it. So, with that being said, great take on what's happening right now and why we're all doing this, I guess. And I think too, right to what you've been talking about all night long, is that's into the predictions. And, I've had a couple of predictions. That was one that if Trump didn't get elected, gas prices were going to be higher. Hey, guess what? I was right. Two, that UFO thing was going to come out. We weren't going to learn anything new. Hey, guess what? I was right again. Three, Da Vinci was a genius. I think that still holds true today. But I think the best one was that my mom said, hey, we're all going to hell in a handbasket. And I think she was right. I don't want to drag anybody down, but it just seems like the things we're going through now. And, it's kind of funny. I kind of want to think see what you guys think about what's happening with this. Well, this July 18th thing, here's a funny story for you. Real quick, somebody had contacted me and said, I want you to stand outside in the rain on the top of a mountain and videotape this magical craft we created that was anti-gravity. And I said, well, why don't you just send me a picture? And they said, well, we don't want anybody to know what's going on. So they just happened to reach out to me on a Facebook group and put it all over that Facebook group. And these people were getting a lot of traffic, by the way. So I can understand maybe a little bit why this guy's doing it. Can I agree with it? I don't know. Is it going to come to fruition? My prediction is, drum roll, please.
Drum roll,
I
please.
highly doubt it.
You highly doubt it. All right, so you're saying that's actually one of the possibilities we're going to get to. Well, is nothing happens on the 18th. So that's your prediction. You're in that camp. Nothing happens. It's going to be just another.
Are we taking bets here, guys? We starting a pool. What are we going to do? Squares? Where do you want to go with this?
I think once you start,
is UFO Jesus going to be there? By the way, is he? I mean, he's made a living off of doing this. So
I don't know about that.
Is he one of those guys on Reddit that's going to just snap his fingers and now all of a sudden everything's going to change and we're going to have free energy and cures instead of treatments and all of a sudden all the people that are I can't even go there. I'll save that for another show, but you know what I'm saying.
So you're in the camp of no. Nothing's gonna happen. That's okay. That's okay.
I'll believe it when I see it. Been here all along, watched it all the whole time. I wanted to believe it, by the way, and that's where I lie. I wished it would happen. I prayed it would happen, and well, I'm still praying. And you know what? That's why I'm. I guess more spiritual than religious. So
there you go.
But this is, I think, too, what we do, guys. What you guys are doing now is that sign of the land, and what Mike said. Educational. Hey, okay, we can see some of these things. We've talked about this on many of your shows, and that's what's really happening and what's out there to maybe turn your mind into a different direction or whatever. But I think it's a double-edged sword. If it happens, great, but. I don't know what the whole deal is with it because I really don't know much about this, and I'm probably happy I don't. But if it's the end of the world, then I've heard that one before too.
Exactly. Hey, so before I let you go, I got a question for you. So Mike in Colorado called in, and he wanted some takes on ascension, meaning vibration. Do you have anything you can share regarding that? Ash and I gave our takes. If you don't believe in it and you got nothing to say, that's cool. But I'm curious if you have a take on this vibrational status of human beings. Any thought on that?
Well, what I actually, absolutely, Mike. And actually, I think I kind of started out with, I think there is this thing with the human mind more than, I don't know if it's about what you eat and what you put in your stomach or whatever, because, I prefer a Steel Reserve, $1.62 pounder at the gas station versus, a bundle of kale from the grocery store. And, it makes me feel good, and it's all about what you feel good. But I think, again, it gets to the point that our DNA is advancing, and I think I mentioned the Akashic record and these things that might be being implanted in our minds through DNA and advanced civilizations that helps our civilization move along. I mean, it's a whole other show where you get into how we've advanced so fastly in such a short amount of time, and that we're the only intelligent species in the known universe, when that to me seems very unlikely, yet we're not ready to ascend to that place. And then, I think Mike is probably going through some things maybe with dreams and that thing that he's in now. It's, it becomes confusing for someone, and it's a learning process. And I think if we have the secret to this, we'd all, we'd be there. And, in my mind, Mike's right on page with what he's talking about, and and who has the answers? None of us. Well, I think if you put it all together, it's a very good theory. I don't know how it works, but I again going to go back to my bread and butter, and that's the DNA changes. The young musicians that I see now that you didn't see when I was a kid, that are just amazing. The geniuses that are popping up and how they got there and the math equations and, is this other guy going to space? Great, let's, right back to the predictions. I saw some the other day, and, now everybody's going, if he gets there, well, you know what? Stay there, pal. Stay there, because at least we won't have to put a ton of money into Amazon this year.
Amen to that. Amen to that. We got to go, Paul. We got a call behind you. We got more stuff to get to. Thank you so much. Everybody, please follow
All right, guys.
Paul,
thank you.
New Hampshire UFO Hunter on YouTube. Thanks, Paul. We'll talk to you later. Have a great night. Appreciate the call. There you go. If you guys want to be part of the show, easy peasy is that. We're going to be nice to you. We want to hear what you think about this stuff. Again, we're not trying to, we don't have some agenda to railroad anything down your throat and make you join the cult. It's not like that. You believe what you want to believe, and we're just having having a discussion here. We can agree, we can disagree, we consider all the things. And if you want to be part of that, 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and we'll get you on the show. Before we take the next call, anything else real quick, Ash?
No, that was a great call. As always, a lot of interesting stuff. And yeah, he mentioned basically like, he's mentioned routinely the DNA of humans and cultivated, and it kind of plays in that harvest, right? Where we've been seeded with certain genetics, which could potentially be technology. And all right, look, so this guy's saying he's talking aliens, right? The aliens, whenever anyone tells any story about aliens, there's always telepathy. Like, what is that, right? Like, how does that work? Is that a technology? Is that DNA? There's this world we don't really know or understand, and there's people who tell all kinds of stories, right? And we don't know who's telling the truth, who's right, who's wrong. But it only takes one of them to be right, and this whole world is upside down, right? So anyway, we're talking about this throwaway alien, and you guys are having really good calls, and we're talking about really interesting stuff. And I'm just glad to be here. So let's keep it going.
Let's do it. Actually, we've got Malorcus. Looks like Malorcus on the line. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this call in. Let's go to. I think it's Malorcus 45. You're on Trouble Minds.
Malarkey 45. Malarkey.
No.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, man? How are you?
Good night. I'm great. How are you? I just wanted to say my experience I had in raising or changing your vibration.
Okay. We got about 2 minutes, so go.
Okay. A little while ago on Lighting the Void, they had a guy named Joshua P. Warren on there talking about sigil magic. And sigil magic is you just kind of stare at this, like, squiggly lines on a card, almost like a Rorschach card. What do you see in this image? That kind of thing. And so he's got like 4 different ones on there, for seeing ghosts, for money, love, and being psychic. So I looked at the money one, and during the show, he was explaining that, you'll get some kind of money. Some kind of money will come your way. So I did it. My wife did it. Okay. Both looked at it. And the wife went to Target one day, and she had a price discrepancy. She went to the cashier, and instead of like giving her credit, they gave her $10. It's like, it's never happened before. $10 cash. And so I was doing it for a little while, and out of nowhere, after like 2 years after I left the job, when I switched jobs, I switched healthcare insurance. I got a refund check out of nowhere for like $220. And it had been years, and they said I overpaid or whatever. And I was like, I can't believe it. So I think that stuff works. And if you want, I'll post those on the Fringe FM, what the sigils look like, and a link to it. And then one other thing, if you want to know about telepathy, there's a group on Twitter, the Sandia Information Station, and they have a primer that you could read. Sorry, I'm at work if you hear that radio. On what you could read and try to activate your telepathy, and you could communicate with them. And the first step you do is you send out a ping. And I've actually, crazy enough, I'm going to say this on the air, I've actually received reply pings.
Okay.
So usually when they get the reply ping, it's supposed to go outside and look for the lights. I haven't seen any of that.
Malorcus
I
45.
have heard a reply ping.
I hate to cut you off, my friend. We have to go. If you want to hang on, we'll get right back to you. If not, we got to go. You tell me.
All right, I got to go, but have a great night, guys. I'll be listening.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. This is Trouble Minds.
Awesome
I'm Michael
call.
Strange.
Thanks,
We're here with Ash the Reptilian. Don't go anywhere. More conversation after the break. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I am your host, Michael Strange. We are here with your co-host, Ash, the Reptilian from Mars. And we are streaming on Facebook, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope. And we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're taking your phone calls at 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord at troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get in here and say hi. Come tell us what you think about these predictions about the July 18th. Do you think there's going to be some sort of disclosure, some sort of ascension, the age of Aquarius, some sort of alien invasion? I don't even know. We're all over the place on this one, and it's okay. We're talking about vibration and higher states of being. Well, like I said, like I always say, the conversations go where you guys want to take them. And if that's what we're going to talk about tonight, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So let's see if we can tune into Ash. Beep, beep. Earth to Mars. Are you there? Are you there, buddy?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm ready. I'm here.
Ready.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Ready. All right. So we got a phone call coming in, but so the conversation has widened, and so instead of just predictions about July 18th, which is July AITEE, we're calling it. It's being called. What about this ascension stuff? What about as part of that particular prediction? Is there something to this? Is there something to maybe these vibrational states of being, and how maybe that's what the ETs are waiting for? Who knows there? And any take on that before we take this caller, Ash?
Yeah, good point. I mean, it's interesting. We kind of touched on this topic very lightly about the ascension and vibration. And there's a tremendous amount of interest, and it's almost like maybe the alien invasion has already begun. Maybe they are benevolent and they're planting seeds of culture and knowledge within our society, and kind of waiting for that tree to bloom, right? Those flowers to bloom, and for people to become more familiar with this and resonate. We had a few different callers mentioning all sorts of little things, right? Groups and meditations and techniques for contact. So there's a lot of stuff kind of bubbling beneath the surface. It's pretty interesting, right? Around the time of this sort of potential contact, a lot of people are sort of ready for that contact, right? And so, yeah, we were talking about ascension and all these kind of things, which sounds very familiar to something called The Secret, if you guys have ever heard of it. It's it's like an Oprah Winfrey kind of thing, right? She supposedly read that book. It's a book, The Secret. And it's about how you can manifest or, basically bring things to you. That last caller mentioned this kind of thing where he meditated on symbols and this stuff happened. And I've had personal experience where someone meditated to find a certain opportunity. And I myself was very familiar or right in the middle of that opportunity. And I randomly ran into him literally the next day. And it was a weird, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go down this road. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do that. It was a weird coincidence that brought me into his presence. So, I mean, that's like the most direct example. But, supposedly we come here to this planet. We're souls and we can manifest and we're here to learn and all these kinds of stuff. And a lot of secret societies and cults and the elites talk about this stuff. And they're doing DMT dives now and talking to space elves, and there's all sorts of crazy stuff, right? And this is a very mysterious, confusing world we live in. So, you pop that scab and it bleeds, man. There's a lot of interest in.
Come on!
Is that the saying?
No, that's not the. Well, let's not find what the right saying is. Holy smackle! All right, let's not talk about bleeding scabs. All right, let's go.
No, but the idea is that people are wondering what they live in. They're looking up at the stars. A lot of our religions and things and cultures are kind of phasing out, right? Like out with the old and in the new, and we're kind of like this in this renaissance where it's like, they say that you knock on your table and that's all there is. You die, there's nothing, and people there needs to be more than that for everyone, and this is an outlet for that. So anyway, yeah, scabs from blood. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, right. That's all. All those words you said. That's all I heard. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's go to Matt in California. What's up, Matt? How are you, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. Go right ahead, sir.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Doing good, thank you.
Good.
Oh yeah, I was talking about different things tonight, but then we started talking about this vibration of ascending and things like that. So that's kind of a good one. So I want to talk about that. So there's these, I don't know if you ever heard of this, there's the 7 Hermetic laws, the 7 Hermetic principles. It's from a god named Hermes, but it goes all the way back to a god named Thoth from Egypt. And there are these 7 laws of the universe that can't be broken. So some of them you might know, things like the law of attraction. We kind of talked about that. And then there's also like ones that say, we're all energy and we're all connected. That's a deep rabbit hole one. So, but tonight I want to talk about one of the laws. One of these laws is called the law of vibration, and make your dirty jokes. But I'm talking about atoms. So the principle of vibration says that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates, and everything is always moving all the time. Things we think that are staying still, they are not. So we think things that we look at things as solid, but we know from science, from quantum science, that means small, that there's atoms moving and bouncing around. And so let's see. The power of the principle of vibration comes. Let's see. Oh, how so saying these tiny electrons and particles are always moving, always rotating. How did the philosophers back then know this without knowing about the atom? The power of the principle of vibration comes from understanding that physical matter is always vibrating, but that everything is vibrating, even non-physical. And so differences of matter, energy, and spirit are all different vibrations. So our thoughts are like vibrations and things like that too, not just physical. And so things, have you ever met someone you did not like or gone to a place that you felt uncomfortable? We tend to say things as bad vibes, thinking those words as figure of speech, but they are true. You are literally picking up on the energy of the vibration broadcasted by the person or the place. So that's kind of about that. And what we're talking about, ascension. So our bodies were vibrating on the physical realm, and our spirits are on the spiritual realm. So maybe that's kind of what they're talking about, that we've heard this story before, that if we're raise our consciousness to a higher level, that maybe we can go to a place and it's kind of like bringing heaven to earth instead of how we would say the rapture, but we're ascending to another level, and you do it by like eating healthy and just being a good person and things like that. And so instead of the rapture, you can there's those rainbow monks that basically they're ascending so high that they ascend to heaven. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But it is, so I guess kind of with all of that said and the things we've been talking about, in some way it's all connected, right? Like there's like the vibrational, like they say, low vibration or higher vibration type entities, right? And that includes like animals, right? That includes, like they say, like animals would be a lower vibrational entity, and then an ascended human being would be a high, and then basically that all ties into this spiritual awakening and all the rest of these things. Like I said, the age of Aquarius and all this, it gets deep, doesn't it? It just becomes a very deep thing.
And same thing with like places. So like it's funny, we point down to hell, but we point up to heaven. But I don't think like heaven and hell, like hell's not really in the middle of the earth and heaven's not really up in the sky. They're just different vibrations. And so that's why, we point down to hell. That's like the lower vibrational entities or whatever world you want to say. And then we point up to heaven. That's like the higher, the gods and things like that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Continue, please. You're teaching me something here. Continue, sir.
Okay, and there's let's see. There's a book out there called The Celestine Prophecies, where they talk about that, like eating only the healthy food and drinking only the like natural water, or eating only food that was like meditated on, like grown from a plant, and they meditate on it. And then they eat only the healthy food. They start to feel, you feel better when you eat healthy food. That's, obvious thing. And so they like ascend and they go to, like, that's kind of what that book's more about, is ascending. And the rapture, how you want to say it, they like disappear, their physical body disappears, but they're still there. And I guess you're just like vibrating on a higher level. But I want to talk too about like with your thoughts. Okay, so like your thoughts is like how everything vibrates, is like a frequency it puts out. So like your thoughts, you're like an antenna. Your thoughts are going out into the universe, and the universe is trying to like match or reflect back to your life like what you're putting out. The problem is, sorry.
You're good. We didn't say anything. Go right ahead.
Okay, sorry. So you're putting out, and then but we're like, so our thoughts are so scattered. We're always thinking about, how are we, what are we going to eat next, or how am I going to pay that bill? Does the girl like me? We're all thinking about all this stuff. So the universe does not get a clear message. It gets like static, and it doesn't know how to turn it back to us. So I use the analogy as a antenna, like a broadcast waves. But also I'm going to use an analogy as like a flashlight. So like a flashlight is like, a radius of light going out. The universe doesn't know how to take that and respond to that. So when we do things like we meditate, what we're doing is we're focusing that light from a flashlight to like a laser, like a laser point, and sending our messages out to the universe that way. That way the universe can understand what we're saying and send it back to us more clearly, hear the message clearly and send it back to us. And so you could do things like positive affirmations, where like you're getting ready for the day and you're looking in the mirror and you say things like, today's going to be a good day. I'm going to be better than I was yesterday. I'm loved, things like that. You say into the mirror and experiment with it. You'll find that you kind of like you flow more better with the current of the energy of the world than against it. And also likewise, of course, we all know somebody, not us, but we all know one person that we call them negative Nancy's. Okay. They're always like, complaining about everything, right? My back hurts, all day, complain. What ends up happening? They have a bad day.
Yeah, I got you.
And I'm not saying like I'm not saying I don't have a bad day either, but
right.
It's funny. Like, what I'm saying is when bad things happen to your life, don't dwell on them so much. Just let them go. That way, focus more on positive things, and that way you'll see your life will go in more right directions. You'll see more synchronicities, and following those synchronicities will lead you to like higher vibrations.
Gotcha. All right. That's good stuff, man. Like I said.
Sorry, I know that we were talking about. I'm sorry, we were talking about aliens tonight, but I didn't know we were going to talk about the vibration thing.
No, it's all good.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Like I said, do you think it's possible that people have speculated the aliens are waiting for something? Do you think it's in light of what we're talking about with the vibrational ascension and the age of Aquarius and all this stuff? Do you think that maybe that's what the aliens are waiting for?
I've never thought about it like that before, but yeah, I don't know.
That's some maybe juice then, right?
Think about that one.
We'll drink the maybe juice.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
But I do have one more thing I want to talk about the original topic, what we were talking about earlier.
Sure, go ahead.
Is we're talking about all these bad stuff that's going to happen, and I just want to remind people that we use this word. We use it sometimes when we're talking about doomsday and all the bad things. We talk about this apocalypse, and most people, like in the Bibles and things, the apocalypse is like the end of the world. But I just want to remind people, if you look up the word apocalypse in the dictionary, it just says a disclosure of revelation or great knowledge. So it just means that it doesn't mean doomsday, like end of the world. It just means like something is going to change the way we live. Let's just put it that way. For good or for bad, I don't know. But we always talk about apocalypse, and we always think it's a bad thing. But it's just something's going to change. Let's just go with that.
Gotcha. Change. I like that. So apocalypse could be a positive thing too. It just depends on the direction of change. Good stuff, Matt. As always, I appreciate the phone call. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for always being enthusiastic. Thanks for sharing the amazing stuff.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. There you go. It's Matt in California. Easy as that, guys. You want to be part of the show? Just dial the number 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. Ash, good takes. Matt had a lot of good stuff to say there. Anything on that as we continue catching up here and getting ready to get us into the third hour? We got about 8 minutes left before we finish this segment here.
Yeah, great call. A lot of really good information. I share a lot of those beliefs where it's about kind of what you resonate with and where you point yourself and your energy and your mind and your spirit. And life is what you think it is. It's that mirror reflecting back at you. And I've had a lot of experience with this sort of thing where I've had ups and downs in my life, and it really kind of, regardless of your situations, regardless of whatever's going on in this world, you kind of like you manifest beyond that, right? And it's kind of like Buddhists and monks. They train and they teach themselves to be on a bed of pins or stepping on fire, and to transcend those things and kind of go inward. And it's kind of like all these religions. A lot of things. There's kind of saying a lot of the same stuff, right? And if aliens come down, this Blue Blop 5 comes out, and he kind of says the same thing. It's pretty interesting. So this is kind of like, again, we're talking about this throwaway alien guy, kind of going back to the original thing and bringing it back over here, is that this guy said that in 4 days there will be pretty much an event, right? The aliens will come out, Blue Blop 5 comes down, and a variety of things can happen from there. And a lot of people believe it's going to be this fifth dimensional transition, or maybe the aliens will help prepare us for that. Whether that's good or bad, or and there's a couple other narratives in this thing, and we can continue with those or whatever. But I will say that they call it, you're right, and Mike, it does have a name. It's called July AT.
Yeah, July AT. AITEE. Yeah. AT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that?
AT. It's like ET. It's like kind of like the ET revelation.
Like AT. Yeah.
Like ET, but like AT, July 18th. Hold on, I got to interject this real fast, and then you can just take this to the end if you want. Night Stalker says this in the chat, in the Fringe FM chat, which is why you guys should join the Fringe FM Discord, fringe.fm/chat. Lots of smart people in there. He says this: July 18th is apparently the day of Nephthys, maybe in ancient Egypt, a goddess associated with death. This is probably not the rapture, though. He says. So there you go. There's some darkness to the light we're trying to cast here. But
right.
Thanks for
no, but that's the crazy thing. There's so many things that converge around this time, right? There's so many things. Nostradamus, he had some predictions, and in there he says there's going to be a plague, and that the world will get smaller after that. It's like, oh, okay, that's a little too on the nose. And that there's all this stuff's going to happen, and then there's an earthquake, and so.
Are you predicting an earthquake, Ash? Are you predicting an earthquake?
Hey, man, the planet can, let out a little gas, and that qualifies, right? It's just a little, is it a devastating earthquake? Is it a strong earthquake? I don't know. The remote viewing people actually predicted an earthquake on one day, and they predicted where it was going to be. But they predicted it would be much more devastating. So this is that remote viewing group, based on predictions, since we're just talking about that real quick. And they predicted it on the day there was an earthquake, but it was much less severe than they predicted. But the fact that they even predicted it on that day was pretty tremendous. And they came up with a hypothesis that the future isn't really written. There's like this statistical probability of stuff that's going to happen, and until we kind of gloss over that moment, it's not written in stone.
You mean
Isn't that crazy?
So we're manifesting that future with our vibration, right?
Yeah, we're all equal in our manifestation potential, and that we're all pieces to a story. We're a dream, or collective, or consciousness, or a computer, or AI, or whatever, and that we are weaving this story together. So we've kind of agreed on some stuff ahead of time, but until the moment happens, until the manifestation happens, who knows? And an argument behind that is, if you ever notice, Hollywood is always showing you stuff. Like, I think it was like the one Olympics right before COVID, they were doing this weird ritual during it. And if you go back and you watch it, it's like, this seems like a plague, right? If you look through it in that context, it's like the symbology. So, we're talking about manifesting and higher densities, and, basically, these are symptoms or tools of something that we don't quite understand, right? Something more. And that a lot of these elites, these people, have used this to come into power already, and that they believe these things and they embrace them and they use them, and they kind of use them against people who aren't aware of them. So that's an ongoing conspiracy theory. I think I know every conspiracy theory, and they're all just crazily fighting each other in my brain for for like, just current like presence, and then that one goes away and the next one fills its place. So yeah, but it's really interesting stuff, and it just shows that people resonate that there's like more, right? There's this universe could potentially be magical, which is I think is pretty cool. I think that's better than not, right? And so yeah, thank you everyone for calling. Great calls so far. Continue to call. We're gonna keep moving ahead with this, right? This July AT. We're going to talk about AT. There you go.
I got an explanation too. So Bailey on D Live says note that July AT is not. Here we go. It's July AT because that's how aliens' accents sound when they say July 18th. Allegedly, it's not meant to be like ET. So there we go. There's the explanation. I had not heard that. So apparently, as usual, Bailey's way ahead of us on these stuff. Thank you, Bailey from Monochrome there on D Live for keeping us straight. Like I said, it's hard to keep up on all the things. Some of these rabbit holes go so deep. You go about 2/3 of the way down, and then you have to like go for a walk. It's like I'm gonna go see some nature because I don't know what to think now, right? But yeah, we got like a minute left, so let's wrap this up. I appreciate all the calls tonight. Thank you guys for all the thoughtful chat, hanging out with us. As you know, we'll have a third hour of Troubled Minds, and so stay tuned for that. And also, if you're listening on the Fringe FM, we got Joe Roop Lighting the Void coming up. But let's wrap this up. About a minute left. Let's kill it, Ash. Final thought, friend.
Yeah, so this July 18th thing is an event. It's on Reddit. If you go to our conspiracy or whatever, you can search for it. They're going to have like a mega thread and stream it all day live. The night before, they're going to do an event. So if you're interested and you want to participate and you're betting on it, join it. I'm Ash, the reptilian from Mars. Appreciate you guys for calling in. Really awesome calls. Thanks for having me. And we talked about this stuff like other crazy stuff every Wednesday. And so, yeah, good to be here. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday.
There you go. And as we finish this up, as you know, this conversation continues. God willing, we have tomorrow, Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, Troubled Minds, and we're done. So if you're listening to us on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. If you're watching us on the streams, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, D Live, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds. And as we finish, be sure, be strong, be true. Also, if you're listening on the podcast feed, one more hour coming up. Thank you for listening, guys. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're here with Ash, the reptilian from Mars, and we're talking about all kinds of stuff. We're talking about Throwaway Alien from Reddit. Throwaway Alien is what it's called. We've got all the links for you, and it's a big conversation regarding some predictions about the end of times, alien invasions, ascensions, the age of Aquarius, things like this. I don't know. Depends on how you want to look at these things, right? As some people's, as Matt was saying when he called, kind of the Armageddon or the end times or things like this, right? It can be interpreted in different ways. Some people believe that it could be a good thing, right? The end means change, but the end could also mean, right, the end. And so, it just depends on who you ask, I guess. Per usual, it depends on who you ask. So what's up, guys? I see you there. Thanks, Penny, for showing up. Thanks for the call. Their algorithm, I see you there. Thanks, Dagger Spells, for joining the Discord and being great part of the chat here. So we're going to keep on trucking. We're still talking about this. I don't know if Ash is out there. Beep, beep, Earth to Mars. Beep, beep. 2-minute break.
Beep, beep, Mars to Earth.
Beep, beep. Yeah, loud and clear. I love it. All right, so where do we want to take this now? There's some more theories we can read from this Reddit thread. We could do some of that, or as usual, guys, we're taking your phone calls. So don't forget that. That's the most important part here. Well, you know what we think. We talk on the microphone quite a lot, but we want to hear from you. 702-957-1037, troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get your ass in here. Where are we taking this, Ash? Let's go some weird ways or some, I don't know, whatever you want to do, man. How you feeling tonight?
Up and down, left and right, out in space. You know, where we going? We ascended for a while there. We descended. We had alien invasions. We had 7-year predictions. This guy who made these predictions literally checked the fuck out. He left the planet. Supposedly.
Yeah, exactly. So the guy, exactly, Throwawalian, deleted his Reddit account, and he's been abducted many times apparently. And so I don't know what that conspiracy theory is, but he's gone, right? Is that what happened?
He literally is like, all right, they're coming to get me. Peace, and they fucking left the planet.
Just like that.
That was his last post.
Really?
So there was a 7-year hiatus when that's what I read here. There was a 7-year hiatus where you didn't hear shit from him for a while. He was answering questions and stuff, and then he disappeared. So, you know, this kind of plays into all of this other stuff that we're talking about. But originally, it's just this guy on Reddit, right? Who made this prediction for this date that's coming up. In fact, now it's in 3 days. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
And he came back at some point. Oh, go ahead.
So we just clicked over. It's midnight on the East Coast. 3 days to Armageddon, or, you know, the change in Ascension, or whatever, depending on how you want to frame it, right? Oh boy.
What are you gonna do with your last few days, Mike?
I'm gonna hang out with the wife, Mrs. Strange. We're gonna maybe watch the stars on Saturday, because that's the day, maybe the day when they all come down and we can take pictures of them. Who knows? And then Sunday maybe I'll drink some whiskey Saturday night and sleep in Sunday. That's what I'm gonna do. And then if it ends,
it's not too bad. Not too bad. There's no rape and pillaging there. I'm surprised.
No, I'm totally not doing that. Come on. I get credit for being a monster, but I'm not a monster. I'm a decent dude. Come on, Ash. Come on, buddy. This is not.
Sorry, I'm a cold-blooded reptilian, man.
Exactly.
No. You guys are lucky I'm not there. That's all I gotta say. You humans. And my live stream the other day, you humans were talking a lot of smack about reptilians eating us and what we taste like. You're never gonna taste us, okay? We're gonna taste you. Us reptilians eat humans. That's how it goes.
All right. Not the other way around. All right, got it. All right.
Not the other way around.
All right.
So
I was the one that made the comment. So Ash was doing a live stream last night. We all hopped in there and harassed him a little bit. And I did mention I wanted to know if your hide was large enough for a pair of boots and a robe, or if I should just plan on a backpack. Anyway, I digress.
I'm you know what? I'm interested in the math at this point. Okay. Hold on, let me look at my backside.
All right, perfect. All right, guys,
I'll send you some reptilian nudes, and you could measure it yourself. Okay, how about that?
Got it. Add like a little lamp, a lava lamp for scale or something. All right, guys, we're taking your phone calls. We're still talking about this Throwawalian. Bailey, get in here. Bailey said she had some stuff to talk about the Throwawalian and some of the stuff here that probably was that we didn't even know. We probably didn't go all the way down to the bottom of the rabbit hole. But Bailey, as usual, beats me to the punch on a lot of this stuff, and I'm going to call Bailey my inside informant, sending me information when I'm like, what the hell is this?
Well, it's kind of their fault, right? Yeah, this is. Did you link this to me, or did I find this on my own? I feel like it's Bailey's fault. That's what it is.
Yeah, we'll say it's Bailey's fault. That's fine. I think Bailey will be okay with that. But point being that so where are we gonna take this? We'll go. Let's read some more of this alien invasion, and let's do a couple more from that from the list, and then we'll take your calls. Like we said, we kind of started this with it's a prediction. It's a prediction, right? This is a prediction of what's going to happen on July 18th. July AITEE, they're calling it. It's all over Reddit, and they're talking about this, and these are the predictions going down. So let's go back to that thread that we started with, and so we did fake alien invasion 1. So we did bullet point 1, bullet point 2, different versions of the alien invasion, and then we did number 8, which was the spiritual shift, which kind of got us onto the high vibrational conversation. So there's a ton more in here. You want to pick one out, and we'll talk about that, Ash?
Yeah, let's do some uplifting stuff. Let's talk about the alien invasion colonization. It's actually really fast. It basically says one or multiple alien species will attack Earth with the goal of colonizing the planet. and exploiting us for various purposes. They will mercilessly destroy us. Oh, that's a good one. 4.
Wait, what? Wait. How's that
Number 4.
uplifting? How's that uplifting?
Oh, it's for me. I'm a reptilian, man.
Oh,
What do you
I
think?
see.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you guys. Oh, not so good for you guys.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Okay. All right. Which one was this? What was this one?
Number 4. It's
Number
like
4.
one sentence.
One
Get
sentence.
destroyed.
There you go.
And these are various predictions from like a dozen different sources, right? So they're just you know, we're not saying these things are going to happen. These are just plot points of potentiality, right? So.
Right, exactly. Actually, we got a comment here in the Discord from Lacey. Lacey says this regarding the what are we talking about? High vibration, healthy food, living food, high frequency food, animal factory food, dead food. So lower vibratory food. If you are eating, drinking animal products, you are ingesting their shitty ass living conditions and sadness. And there you go. So. Just there you go. More information from the chat there regarding the vibrational status. So, like I said, we don't have the answers here. We're just trying to kind of throw all the ideas out, discuss all the things. So, Bailey, get your ass in here. Let's do it. If you know all about the July AT, let's talk about this. Let's do it. Hop in the caller queue. We'll put you on the show. If you guys want to be part of this show, we're still talking about this stuff. And what do you predict? What do you predict? I liked Paul's call earlier. Where he's like, well, you know, let's just go through my predictions that I was correct on. He started smashing through those, which is fantastic because, well, that's always fun, right? But what about what's coming on Sunday, on July 18th? Do you think there's something to this? Or again, is this one of those actual, a kind of internet fun concocted sort of conspiracies? Do you remember that somebody was asking recently in the Discord, Ash, about that guy from Quora? He was supposedly the jet propulsion scientist that was talking about anti-gravity stuff. And he was posting on a Quora account that was years and years old. And it had been like clearly some scientists talking about, like studying apes and things like this, right? Like for a long time, for years and years and years. But then suddenly this dude comes out and says that his name is Ibdasim Riaz, Reaz, and he's talking about some like anti-gravity like propulsion technology that he's working on, right? And we're like, what the hell? This was a long time ago, like a year and a half probably plus. And so we're doing this show, and literally as we're doing this show, that Quora post gets taken down. And so Frank refreshed it, and it was like down, and luckily I didn't refresh it. And so we were able to read kind of like one of those last, just deleted sort of situations, but it was about aliens, anti-gravity tech, and some weird stuff. But the reason I bring it up is because the discussion we had in Discord the other day was that they sell these aged accounts for to kind of perpetrate hoaxes like this. And I'm not calling this a hoax in particular because, well, that would be no fun because July 18th is around the corner. Let's call it a hoax afterward. But for now, it kind of is easy to go just buy an account for $50 that's made some posts years ago, and then pop some stuff off now and say, well, here we are. I told you so. Right. I mean, so always be aware, guys. We're, this is the internet. We're open to being fooled and, probably being fooled a lot. So just to kind of throw that in there as a part of the conversation as an aside, it's odd that we're kind of really looking at a similar instance where we have this old account from Reddit that kind of pops up again and starts this new conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we don't know what's true and what isn't. We keep tabs and stuff, and you'll see 50 things, and 2 of them are like nail it, right? And but what makes this really interesting is you don't gotta wait long to find out, right? If this guy was telling the truth, and this guy, he was adamant about the date, and that's one of the things that he said that constantly they were saying to him, that's the date, that's the date, that's the date. And so, will we say, I told you so? No, I won't even care about that shit at all. I'll be like, what the fuck is going on, right? That's it. And that's, so I'm leaning toward, obviously, this is just, it's really easy to create an account on Reddit and just say some stuff and make some predictions. But, on Saturday night, I'm gonna fucking look. I'm gonna be. Maybe I'll find the live stream of people talking about it. And I think there's some buzz and some events going on here, right? So actually, so going back to what I said before we ended the show on the air, July on T. We will observe July on T from midnight Eastern. This is on the Reddit post, Standard Time to midnight Pacific Standard Time. We will have a mega thread live chat all day on the 18th. But if you want a live chat in the meantime, you can join on the Discord community. Here, I got the link. Here, I'm going to join. Oh my gosh. This is going to be nuts.
Welcome to Spamville. Don't click the
links. Download. Yes, please.
Don't click links. Don't click links on a live stream. It'll just take it all down.
Wait. Do I need antivirus software? Yes, I do. I should get that installed. Thank you. Let me download that. All right. Let's not. There you go. Oh yeah, there's some stuff in here. Cases and. Woo. Okay. All right. I'll have to take a look at this. Maybe you know what? Maybe I'll live stream Saturday a little bit to part of the event. But yeah, so there's a Discord community. If you go U-throwaway alien channel, you can search it on Reddit. The night before on July 17th is the NUNO event, National UFO Night Out. That's what Mike was talking about. Also on July 17th, some members are organizing a group meditation where they'll try and manifest or bring a better time. And so cool stuff. That's what's going to go on that day. Just thought I'd gloss over that one more time.
Yeah, so that's what's happening, and I think this is a good thing. Like, regardless, even if they, let's say for marketing purposes, they use the July 18th, alien invasion as like a marketing situation to bring attention to the 17th, the day before, where we all go out and watch for UFOs. I'm going to do it. It's like one of those things where it seems strange, but if we don't like peel ourselves off from all the other BS that we're doing in our day-to-day lives, we forget to do the simple things. Like Kelly was saying, don't forget to ground yourself. Like put your bare feet on the earth. It's a way to kind of ground yourself and get you back in the right headspace. There is something to that electromagnetic field and how we are synced to the earth as entities, as whatever these meat bags we are, these meat puppets or whatever you want to call us. I say that just in a self-deprecating way. Clearly you guys are all ascended. I'm just a meat puppet. That's the way we do this. But point being is that like I'm gonna do it. Like let's do. As soon as I get off this, I'm gonna go. Mrs. Strange would be like, look, we're setting this up. We're doing this on Saturday night. We're going to watch the stars, and we're going to take some pictures, and we're going to see if there's anything out there, right? And if there's a mass meditation going on, that would be like CE5, wouldn't it? That'd be like kind of a Stephen Greer, right? Kind of on a large scale, right?
Well, yeah. Even if even this guy's full of crap, right? Maybe the momentum triggers just a mass sighting, right? Maybe. I always wondered if UFOs are actually like AI that are here to serve us, that we come to this planet to live a human existence, and then our AI aliens, but they're actually just like AI extraterrestrial biological entities. You notice they changed the language from ETs to biological entities, meaning consciousness sort of isn't inherently baked into the name. So these things could basically we are masters of these things, and they're keeping tabs on us, and every once in a while they abduct us to maintenance or to check in some information, or who knows. And that when you meditate, you sort of reach out to these things that serve us. I don't know. It's an interesting theory. It's definitely, I haven't heard that one quite before, but there's been a little bit of evidence toward it. But the meditation supposedly with Stephen Greer, this one guy summoned UFOs on a news station. Remember that? It was like really old, crappy quality. But he's like, oh, this guy supposedly summons UFOs, and they put them on there, and then they're like, holy shit, there's UFOs in the sky. Have you seen that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen it. That sounds amazing, though. It's like that whole "be careful what you ask for," right? You're like, let's send some new. Holy shit, they're here! What are we gonna do? The alien invasion is here. Yeah, I don't know. I think, and that's the thing, right? So you guys decide what's happening on July 18th. It's up to you, right? It's like again the frequency, the vibration. Are we going to meditate in the apocalypse, or are we going to do something else here? I don't know. I'm down. I'm going to go out on the 17th, and I'm going to look at the sky, and we're going to find some of this stuff. I got some great chat. Thanks for the nice compliments, guys. I see that out there. That's very kind of you. Robert says, I go to strip clubs with my wife's money. That's a funny. There you go. Funny.
All right. Okay, Robert. Yeah. Bold statement.
Bold statement. I got a flat tire again. Had to pay cash for a whole set of tires. What's up? What's up, Vicky? Go down the rabbit hole, and all you're going to get together is a handful of rabbit poo. Yeah, well, that's another way to look at it as well. Kind of the deeper you go, the kind of more BS you get. Yeah.
It happens. It definitely happens.
Yeah. So. Yeah. All right. So let's do more of this. Looking to hear from you guys. What do you think about these predictions? Again, do you think it's like once again like these internet predictions? Is this a throwaway account that was repurchased years later and kind of turned into this? Who knows? I don't know. Is this a hoax? Is this not? Do you think that we're looking in the face of the age of Aquarius, some sort of ascension, or some sort of alien invasion, or something else? Let's go back to that Reddit thread, Ash, and peel off some of those. Real quick, though, this is a fantastic compliment from Jennifer here. Jennifer says, Mike, I was listening to the first half of your show, then I went at 11 Central Standard Time to listen to another, and I must say, you have the best show, hands down. Cheers. That's very nice. Thank you. Very nice to say. Very nice to say. It's like I said, we are kind of in the time slot where we're up against all the big boys, Jimmy Church and Clyde Lewis and all the rest of that. So if we can hold our own and you come back here, well, that says a lot. Like I said, I appreciate the compliments. I've had people call us the new Art Bell and stuff like that. Way too big for us. Those compliments are huge. So thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Good night, Fred. Good night, Fred. But there you go, Ash. How you like that compliment? That's amazing stuff, eh?
Hey, man, that's all you. I'm just here to fuck shit up.
Nah. Come on. Let's get back to Reddit. Just wanted to point that out if you didn't see that the fantastic compliment there. Like I said, when people say, "Oh, Mike's my new Art Bell," I'm like, "Oh shit, get out of here!" Like, get out of here. I'm like drinking whiskey and laughing at myself, and we're calling me Art Bell. Like, get out of here. Anyway.
Well, I mean, Mike. I just to clarify, it's like you've been putting in the time and you're getting better and better at it, man. And I was a fan before I came on the show, and I'm just glad to be here and talk about crazy shit. And that's kind of like where my mental capacity ends, right? So it's great, man. It's
Thank you.
You got some really awesome people calling in and sharing good stuff, and it's people want a place to talk about these things and wonder about the world, and you give it to them. So yeah,
thank you.
But you also suck too, and you smell.
Thank you. Let's do that. Also, July 17th is Penny's birthday, so happy birthday, Penny Bunny.
Oh wow!
Saturday. So when we're out watching the stars, think of Penny Bunny. All right, let's do it. Let's get back to the red thread. Let's do it. Let's get to some weirdness. All right, so that was the alien invasion colonization. How about what is the cleansing? What is this? Oh boy. Oof. Oh boy. Let me read this. This sounds bad. The believers of this narrative say that the aliens will conduct a worldwide cleansing of Earth. The aliens will wipe out a large portion of the human population, but they won't randomly kill people. According to the narrative, aliens will eliminate people depending on certain criteria. Only good people will be spared. Once the killing ends, the survivors will repopulate Earth with the help of the aliens. There we go. What's the
fun.
good people? That's fun. That's definitely fun.
Oh man, it could be by a different set of standards. Like you've never eaten yogurt before, Who's to say? This actually kind of goes with the Dr. David Jacobs thing, actually, where people are being abducted and abductees are creating hybrids, and that the abductees are kind of being prepared for an event, and the event could be like taking people away or getting rid of people, and then replacing the majority of the population with these hybrid things, right? So Dr. David Jacobs is that guy who works for Temple University, and he interviews abductees, and he believes that there's some sort of intervention based on extraterrestrials, and this kind of goes along with that. That like, one abductee was supposedly being trained to like guiding people toward something, potentially like a light or, some sort of to be removed from the planet, and then you have that movie called Knowing with Nicolas Cage where a catastrophe is going to happen, right? That actually is on the list later. But the idea is that, they choose certain sect of people to stay. And it's also the rapture, right? The rapture story. There's a couple thousand people who remain and then get rid of the rest and, reset. And, bro, I got to say, there's a lot of like human sentiment toward this that, a lot of people are, think that humans are bad and that we're fucking it up and we're basically climate change and we're destroying the planet and we're bad and wars. And there's a lot of that kind of feeling. And I get that all over the place in all different groups and sects. And, it's got some truth to it. We have a lot to learn. Does that mean that we pissed off the local alien groups and they're just like, fuck it, reset these things? I don't know, man. I mean, if it was up to humans, we do that with animals where, if there's a threat or whatever, tigers, whatever, we push them right out of that that area, and we kind of do our own thing. And I think a lot of the fear is that, here's a quote, we're scared of aliens because we're scared that aliens will treat us like we treat each other and animals, right? And this whole thing kind of goes in with this theory.
Yeah, I think so, and that's part of it too. I think this is the biggest fear, right? Like with humans, right? We understand that there's like evil in the hearts of mankind, right? And I say mankind, I mean people, women, whoever you are out there, right? In the species, there's evil in the hearts of our species, and so it seems like, right? Like we sort of put that on other things. We anthropomorphize aliens with our deepest fears, with our deepest fear, right? So it's kind of like that. Yeah. So it's like, instead of, I don't know, like it doesn't, it almost seems like if we were animals or ants, like it's been said many times before, that there's an anthill, and if we walk by it, we could give a shit, right? We're like, whatever. This is, like we barely give it a quarter of like a millimeter of a thought from our brain. We're like, whatever. And then to aliens, we may be exactly that, where they who knows. So think about it this way, and it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. So if you are an alien with the ability to travel the cosmos, right? We're not the only planet you've buzzed by that has life, right? Like there's a lot of them, and you've probably buzzed by a lot of them. And so maybe we're just so uninteresting because it's like, oh, they're stuck in that, like murder each other phase and the world wars and shit like this. We've seen this so many times before. We're not interested, Maybe there's somewhere where it's like, kind of like they're watching other things that are more interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's the same sort of thing. It's like we go by the anthill and we're like, whatever. But there are other parts of the world, our own world, that seem interesting to us, because whatever reason. And it could be the very same thing with this. If you can travel the cosmos or bend space-time or phase in and out of, different universe type situations, of course, we're probably boring, right? I mean, you think about the just the cosmos itself and how large everything is. We got to be boring, right? I mean, really? Like look at our news. Like, I mean.
I don't know. Maybe it's like a fucking Jerry Springer, like watching a train wreck, I find ants very interesting, but they're supposed to be like this simple creature. So maybe it's like, maybe it's we're interesting, but not with a level of respect, right? Like a level of kind of appalling. It's like people like to say, like, whenever aliens. Oh, this is actually a great quote on Twitter when the World, when that guy came out, it got a lot of publicity, and there's so many comments, and a lot of the comments were jokes about like Earth's like, oh, we're ready for the Galactic Federation of Worlds, and Galactic Federation of Worlds like looks out their car window and rolls it up, You know, like it's the bad
exactly.
part of town.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's right by the bad part of town. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, because we kind of are, right? I mean, I think that's the thing. That's like they say, like the old proverb goes, right? May you live in interesting times. And I think we are, because it seems like we're on the precipice of something, whether it's, you know, ruin or fortune or ascension or whatever you want to call it. It just seems like we are in that spot. It's like we can make this right, or we can break this and throw it in the fire forever. And it seems like we're sitting in that moment right now. I don't know how big that pocket of possibility is, you know, in terms of years, but it seems like we're there, right? It seems like we could really make this planet right. And it seems like we're fighting against all the wrong villains, the super villains, like the Bond villains of like Oprah and Jeff Bezos with his half-cocked eye. You know, he just needs a monocle and like the Monopoly hat. Then there you go. It's right.
It's frustrating for us conspiracy theorists too, because it's a time of change and all these things are trying to go for it. It's like, you know, you can warn people, hey, this is going to end in vaccine passport, and this is how they're going to do it. And it'll literally fucking go from A to Z, like you said, and they'll be like, no, it's because we needed to do this. It's like, I said there was going to be a thing that we needed to do that. Oh, no, yeah. It's like, you know what I mean? It is a little frustrating, and yeah, it does feel like we're fighting Bond villains and fighting this thing, and all we had to do is just be like, nah, we're not doing that as a collective. It's so hard to get us to just do that. It's tough. And I think people are frustrated that, we humans feel like they have all this power and this and that, but to try and get this to go in the direction you want, it's like a chicken with its head cut off. And I feel like there's been a lot of movement to kind of push from the, whether you voted for this guy or that guy, when Trump and Bernie were up, right? Those two seemed like they were going to be the ones to get picked. And the commonality of that was both of those guys were going to shake it up, right? People did not want the establishment. They did not want Hillary. They didn't want people they didn't want these families, the Bushes. They didn't want these fucking people. They wanted to throw some random in there because people wanted to see some change. They wanted to see something happen. With the dawn of the internet, we're connecting, we're having these conversations, we're making progress, and we're tired of this slow progress. Humans want to do better, and it's pretty frustrating. It's like and it just feels like we have this opportunity, and they're just trying to clamp the lid back on us. Sorry, I kind of tangented there, but.
No, you're allowed. Yeah, this is a talk show after all. You can continue to tangent if you like. We're looking to hear from you guys as well. What's going on with this? Do you think this back to the July 18th stuff? We kind of range far and wide in these conversations, and I think that's what makes this show unique, right? There's some comments about there regarding that, and it's really a loose format. Like, we start with a particular idea to kind of kick off the conversation, but if you guys literally want to grab the bull by the horns and take it some other way, that's what we're going to do. And that's just the way it is, right? And I think there's a beauty there in that we don't book in guests trying to sell, their latest whatever they're trying to sell, and tell us they know all the answers. It's what do you guys want to talk about, right? I mean, that's what this is about. That's what this whole conversation. Again, go back to the 50s, the Great Conversation. Look it up. It's a thing. It's whatever it happens to be. If it's aliens, if it's ghosts, if it's propaganda, if it's parapolitics, whatever it is, we're here for that. So 702, as I say all that, phone number's up. We no calls in the third hour. Weird. Remember, I warned you guys. If we get no calls in the third hour, I'll just shut this shit off. Because I do a lot of work all week on this, so Take 30 minutes off.
Damn.
See?
Threaten them.
I can
see. It feels good.
I can.
Right? Yeah.
It feels good. No, but the thing is, though, right? This is the thing. We have Ash tonight, but the reason I say that is because sometimes the third hour is a struggle to get through. Because in 2 hours, I've said kind of what I need to say. So if you guys aren't interested in calling, then it's like I'm struggling through the third hour, and it's like, we'll just end it at 2.5, you know? So anyway, so looking to hear from you guys tonight. What do you think about this whole July 18th stuff? What do you think about predictions in general, this internet stuff? Do you think can be manufactured artificially through buying old accounts like I was suggesting? And as you know, we're open to all the ideas. If you think the end is coming on the 18th, I want to hear from you. If you think this is all bullshit because somebody bought an old Reddit account, I want to hear from you. I'm open to everything in between. And that's the thing, right? That's why we do it that way, because I don't know the answers here. And I think that's probably unique in part of this, is that, you know, so many people say they know. And it's rare to have people go, well, let's talk about it, but I don't really know. So that's that. So we do have a call coming in. See, that's what happens. You start twisting people's arms. You're like, I'm ending this stream right now. If you fools do not call, I'm ending it. And then the phone rings. See?
They're like, fine.
Fine, we're calling in. Fine, we're doing it. Fine. Yeah, all right. So we're hanging out, just talking about cool stuff. Like I said, these conversations go wherever you want to go. So love you to be a part of it. 702-957-1037. I'm Mike. This is Ash. We're just hanging out talking about weird shit like we always do. We're in the third hour, so we can kind of let our guard down and say some crazy stuff. And so now it's time. Yeah. There you go. Matt says I try to stay on topic, but I'd like to talk more about paranormal and metaphysical. But the thing is, it fits perfectly, Matt. It fits perfectly with the alien stuff. Because we don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, look at that. Not only did I say it, then we get 2 phone calls. All right, let's go to the first one.
That's random. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
It's
all
easy.
right. Welcome to the threat line. You're on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Mike and Ash, it's Mike from Colorado again.
What's up, buddy?
I just had to call to make sure you didn't shut the stream down.
Thank you. Thank you for the call, my friend.
I did. There's so many people in chat, and everybody's having a great time, and you threatened us, and I was like, oh, no, he might do it. So I've got to call back in and get somebody else to call behind me to keep it going. Okay. I don't have anything to say other than I love your stream. I think you're doing great work, both of you. And I subbed to the Aliens channel recently, just tonight. I just wanted to make sure that don't ever bounce on the third hour.
No, it's a lot of work, bro. It's a lot of work. So I got a couple hours prep beforehand. We got the 3 full hours of the show. I got several hours afterward to do write-ups. I got to cut it up into a podcast. I'm just saying. So it's a lot of work.
I know it's a ton of work.
That's all. So that's all I'm saying. So I'm saying if I have to struggle through a third hour without calls, it's better to shut it down 30 minutes early and give me a break. That's all I'm saying. But if you guys keep calling, I'll just keep rolling.
Well, no, I understand.
Okay, all right. I appreciate it.
I get it.
Okay, that's all. So it's not a threat, I promise. It's just the way it is. It means, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow and continue the great conversation. So after you had the great call earlier about asking about the ascension stuff and the vibration in this, did you get anything, any additional insight since then?
You know, I absorbed what everybody said, and I appreciate that. But I still come from the premise that the mind is the interface to the reality. And unless we can get our minds clear and out of the nonsensical stuff the media tells us and out of the fake history, we're never going to be able to see this place where I can meet you in the street and look you in the eyeballs and say, yes, you're one of me. And unless we can clear our minds of all the stuff they give us, we don't have a chance, from my personal opinion. And so the vibrational raising stuff, I just kind of let that go. And I kind of look at you and me as a coyote and a bunny, or a coyote and a coyote in the field, and I try to use the natural world as my guide. And that's why I love your stream and why I call you, because it's so organic. And Mike and Ash, the alien, it's so organic, and I love it. And so that's all.
Thank you. I appreciate it. First time and second time caller tonight, Mike. We are privileged. We are privileged to have you as part of this. I'm not kidding. Like this is exactly why we've always done this. When we first did this show, like Frank, the original co-host, and I, we were like, can you imagine how freaking amazing it would be to talk weird shit and have people call in and give you their takes on this stuff? And here we are, and here, like, so much engagement, so many people listening, and so much love. It's beyond shocking. It's one of those things, like it's a dream come true to meet people like you, because people like you are out there. And so, like I said, please keep calling. Be part of this show. Listen, spread the word, all that stuff. Thank you so much for being excited about this. I still am. I hope it shows after 3+ years of doing this. We're going to keep on trucking. We're going to keep on having the great conversation and asking questions that people are scared to ask. It's words. I think we should be able to get together and talk, don't you?
I agree, 100%. And I have a small little podcast or a small little YouTube channel, and I take people in StreamYard and I let them come on and I let them say whatever they want to say, and then we talk about it, and then we go to the next one, and so the format is super familiar to me, and I know I kind of get why you guys do it, and I really like it. And so the person who's behind me in the call, I'm going to bounce off so they can get on there, and I hope somebody from either Discord or YouTube calls in behind them to keep you guys entertained for the next 20 minutes.
Not entertained, just talking. Mike, please plug your YouTube channel. Tell everybody where to find you, please.
Well, it's algorithm. I'm algorithm in the YouTube chat.
Okay, algorithm, like RHYTHM, like rhythm and dance. Algorithm.
Yeah, and I hope when people say it, they say it really fast, like algorithm, because the algorithm is on everybody's mind. And every time somebody knows me from YouTube, they say algorithm, and they think of me.
Amen. Welcome.
Anyway,
welcome to consciousness. I hope when people say algorithm, they think of me. I will from now on. That's for sure. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate the call, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
See you next time.
Thanks, bro. Fantastic call. Let's go to the next. Anything on that, Ash? We got now that I twisted everybody's arms, the callers have lined up. Funny how that works. Yeah.
See, this is. I'll take a little responsibility to this. I came in here with conquering humans kind of energy. Mike picked up on it. And you know what? I'm gonna threaten him too, and it just feels good, man. So thank you for letting us threaten you guys. And let's go to the next caller. And we do have a little bit more. There's some good happy endings here, and. Again, we're talking about this throwaway alien prediction for July 18th, and Saturday we're going to go outside and look up and see if the aliens come, right? And that's what we're talking about, and all the different things that could happen when the aliens do come. If this is a true story, or maybe you think it's malarkey, keep the calls coming. Let's move on to the next one.
Let's do it. Let's go to Jennifer in Missouri. Welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
Hey, Mike. It's
welcome.
so funny because 3 hours is a long time. And
it's
honestly, doing it all week long to try to pull 3 hours, that's a lot of work. And it's true that people don't really understand, like, to try to talk to people who are just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're busy in the chat room and everybody's hanging out. But to kind of just sit there and be like, trying to entertain you guys, it's hard, especially for 3 hours. I mean, an hour and a half, sure, a breeze. But after that, it starts to get a little difficult. So I totally understand.
Yeah. That's all.
Okay, so on this,
go ahead.
And so, but on this topic, I mean, I didn't call in. I was like, I just got to listen. I was like, doing this and that. But you do want to have participation, and people do. They want to participate. I just think that they're like, they probably just don't think that I don't know. But okay, this whole thing with the July 18th thing, this has happened before. Like multiple times where they've said like, oh, I think it was once in 2020. They were like February 3rd, February 7th. There was a big thing going on with that. And of course, we all wake up and there was nothing that had changed that we could, that we could tell. Now, it's a possibility that maybe something happens for them. Maybe something changes for the people who put this stuff out. I don't know. Or maybe they're letting you in on something that's going to be going on and we have to read between the lines. As far as what's going to happen on the 18th, I mean, I don't know if anything really needs to happen. I mean, we would like for things to just always improve. But as far as aliens and this whole thing, which, we just have to keep looking at it. But does anybody really want something to happen with these aliens? I mean, I don't know. I mean, people had dreams and we look at, imagine
what are you trying to say about me, huh?
A flotilla, that'd be terrifying to be like, oh, a flotilla, and there's a bunch of UFOs up there. I mean, I could deal with it. Everybody could deal with it, and that'd be a nice change. Maybe people are bored, and they're hoping to God that something will happen because something to break the monotony of their day in, day out of what they have to do all the time. As far as vibrations, rising or being low vibration and all that, I've never been a big fan. I was a fan of it when I was little, like when I was a teenager, I was really into that idea. But as time went on, I began to notice that was so, it just doesn't suit. Like whenever you see a baby or like a little, like the animals and everything, and to think that they are low vibration is so awkward when you start thinking that way. And then when you think about it, I mean, we don't really, I'm not a huge fan, I understand it, of people believing in evolution, not like the literal evolution, but that we need to evolve or that we need to become enlightened. I think we're under a lot of stress and pressure. Life's so hard that we think that if we were evolved, we'd be able to handle it better. But the fact is that it's just hard to be existing, and nobody, appreciates it till it's over or they lose somebody. But I don't see any reason to try to evolve. I think that we would like to just kind of be allowed to be human and to be happy like that and not have to be better somehow besides just trying to be a good person. I think it's too much pressure to try to reach some, because I did all that. I mean, meditation I think should be for stress relief. Otherwise it could be weird and open yourself up to like all kinds of weird spiritual interactions you may not want to have to deal with. On the other hand, I think too, changing your diet is almost kind of cultish. I mean, I think you should kind of eat what you like to eat, and as long as it's not causing any kind of health problems, I don't think it affects anything to do with your spirituality. I don't think there's a gatekeeping as far as what you did with your physical body, because there are people too who can't help what happens to them or what kind of physical state they're in. So we can't look at those people and say, oh, you're less spiritually evolved because you have some kind of, you have diabetes or you have like
a genetic predisposition or something.
Happened.
Yeah.
A genetics, that stuff's all. So I don't care for that kind of take on it, but I totally understand people who are trying to improve their health, their outlook on life. And like I said, on the 18th thing, I don't know that, if, I mean, people can make something happen by just being like, I want something to happen. So you could see something in something that wasn't there to begin with. Like we may all notice on the 18th, something we wouldn't have usually noticed because we were paying attention to it. But something happens every day. And so we don't, and as far as aliens and all that, I mean, sure. I mean, everybody would be really excited about that. It would change the whole world. But I mean, we also, I don't know, people have been, never mind, that's it. I was just going to call in because I was like, but I totally understand trying to like, that you should just go ahead and go if you want to go. Because like 3 hours is hard to entertain people for that long.
We've got Ash
especially if you feel like you're talking to yourself.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of it. So without Ash here, like on the other nights, it does, you feel like you're talking to yourself at some point. And so there's no, like you can read the chat, so there's some feedback, but, like you don't know if people are chilling and working in the garage or cooking dinner, whatever, like laying in bed, reading a book. You don't know, like, and that's all good. But it's like, if there's no feedback, it does get tedious. That's all. So thank you for...
you're not making it'd be one thing if you were making a video, but you're doing a live interaction, so it's a totally different thing. If you were just making a video to put out, people watch when they want to, but you're doing a live thing, and so you hope to engage your audience, and that's what you're trying to do. And I think that it's reasonable, but 3 hours is a long time, but for everybody else it's just right, but at the same time I think everybody be happy regardless with an hour and a half, 2 hours, or whatever.
I'll go as long as I can.
I'll let you go. You have a great show.
Thank you for the call.
Have a good night.
Thank you for the call, Jennifer. I appreciate it. Appreciate it as always. Good stuff. Jennifer from Missouri. That was the young lady that had the fantastic compliment about us. Thank you so much for that. Like I said, I didn't mean to be so draconian with the caller. I'm shutting it down. But look, everybody called anyway. We got Bailey we're going to go to in a sec. Any comment on that, Ash? I think that's Jennifer that you probably haven't had contact with just yet. She's been a recent caller, giving us all kinds of good nuggets to think about.
That was my first contact with Jennifer, or maybe her first contact with an alien. I'm not sure how that goes. But no, great call. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. It's actually interesting because Mike and I kind of dive into these topics and we're like, we're going back and forth about this one because it's like this crazy spectrum of just crazy, right? And we were kind of doing similar things, kind of like, well, maybe about this or that. And I think that's a healthy way to think about things and be open and kind of process, all the information you're going and take a look at it. And that's kind of what we're doing tonight, right? We're kind of going through this massive heap of potential information and possibility, and we're trying to make sense of it. So for us to hear other people trying to make sense of it is really, that's kind of like the point. We're all humans trying to figure stuff out, right? And so you had some really good points. Do we really want the aliens to come down? And that's the thing, like, the aliens, if they're real, which I think we all suspect they are, they've been in secret this whole time. And I don't know about secrecy. Secrecy tends to be something of a negative, right? Like, why have them in secret all the time? Who are these aliens? Are they even better than us? Like, maybe it turns out we're the empathetic ones, and they don't really feel emotions. Like, we don't really know, right? That thing. So that's a great point. Maybe we're asking for, angels to save us, but what we're actually asking for is the demons. So great point about that. Good point about physical limitations hindering spiritual growth. So basically what you were saying is like, diet, is that really so important? And you don't really know the kind of body you're going to get in your life. So it doesn't really make sense for it to limit your spiritual potential. Like, are they related? Maybe not, and you're making sense for it for yourself, and that's cool, and I get that. And then the last point you made was actually very interesting. I really like is maybe changes are happening all the time. Maybe we are moving through dimensions, or something was triggered and only the elites knew about it, or this person. Maybe Bleeblop 5 and all his homies are already here and they're working with the government to do X, Y, and Z. We don't really, you say we could say these dates have come and gone, and maybe things change. Maybe it's one thing and maybe it's not the other. Do we really notice these changes? I mean, before COVID, we could say whatever we wanted. Right? At least in America, right? We used to be able to say whatever we want. You could literally say these things like, I'm gonna go X the Y, right? And people were like, "Oh, you're gonna be put on the hit list," right? But I mean, it was a joke. Now they're working on where if you try to text someone something, it's gonna be removed from the text. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's happening. So, the changes, are these changes happening? And we just, it's just another fucking day, another day, another dollar, and we just go on with our lives. But yeah, sorry. Thank you. Great call. You got me thinking. And let's go. Whose fault was all this? This whole show tonight. Who was it, Mike?
That was Bailey's fault.
Who?
Monochrome, welcome to the show. If you can hear us, you're on the show. Whenever you're ready, unmute and get in here. So, like I said, if I say I don't have an inside rabbit hole source, I'm lying, because I actually do. And this is Bailey. Everybody meet Bailey. What's up, Bailey? This is a Monochrome, as you guys know her in chat. Welcome to the show. How are you tonight? Test 1, 2.
That's how it always goes, man.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the beauty of live shows, is you just never know. You're like, all right, you're on, and they're like, crickets, crickets, crickets.
I mean, we had everything except we had an intro. We had like a joke. It's we should have just had like a theme song going too. Like, when she came on, build up that hype, and then bam, something's going on. Big Sad muted somehow.
Muted.
Keep giving it a shot. We'll hear for you.
All right. So Bailey,
we want to hear from you.
All right. So I'm gonna. So since people are hanging out and engaging and being part of this, I'll stay a little long if we need to. Like I said, if you got to cut, man, Ash is Eastern Standard Time on Mars, so shit is late. So if you got to cut, man, don't feel bad. I just want to put that out there. So I'm going to go with Monochrome, and then we'll go to Jay after that for the outro. But Bailey, are you there?
Hey, sorry about that. Discord apparently didn't want me to say anything.
That's okay. Well, we've conquered that. So welcome to the show. You are actually my inside source for the deep down the rabbit hole type stuff. So when I say I don't have an insider, I lied. You are it. Welcome to the show. What do you think about all this July 18 stuff?
I've been following this for a little while now, and I think it's interesting. Normally, I don't like. I'm not going to tie myself to the date, but I think there's a lot of potential truth to it, because specifically the thing that got me is like, as someone who was abducted or whatever the heck that means, as a kid, the way they described the feeling of being abducted in their posts was actually like pretty spot on about how whenever you talk about it, people always go off about, oh, I wish that happened to me. And they were like, no, you do not, And like, I think that's like a lot of the way they described those things was actually pretty interesting to me on how they described all of that. So that kind of left me in a position where I was a little more interested in this. Not so much that I believe the date, but enough that I'm following it. But yeah, I didn't know I started this whole mess on your episode here.
You were talking to me about this several weeks back even, and I was like, really? Like, really? Come on, Bailey, really? You know how we do this. I do this with Ash too. You guys send me some stuff and I'm just like shaking my head, smacking my forehead. I'm like, really? And then a week, two later, we're talking about it on the show. So, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, well, it's a really weird one. Yeah, I think it's probably at least some truth in it. I don't know if the right date's going to happen, but we'll see. It's interesting that they started, 7 years ago, and now we're seeing all of this kind of being mentioned in media and stuff right on time. Right. That's pretty wild.
That is wild. And it's like a lot of this stuff is supposedly delayed. So if you were going to start it, that time when they really were supposed to do it was perfect for rolling it out, like over a year or two, right? And yeah, it is weird. And this was 7 years ago, and they predicted kind of like on the money. So, and they didn't predict 2020; they predicted 2021. I went back and checked, and so yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, I think. And I think there is, to me, some truth to like the idea of like vibration. But I agree with Jay that like there was no there's no like tied to your body aside from maybe the suppression of your DNA, I think is probably part of how things work. But like that goes into, y'all were mentioning telepathy earlier, right? And I think like there are examples of like people trying to disclose telepathy in the past. Sorry. I think one of them was the movie The Shining, if you've seen that one. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's that video, The Shown Report. You can find it on YouTube, and it's like a big discussion about how they found, certain parts in the movie where it was like the communication wasn't all there, and it was almost like there was a telepathic communication between the two people, and they're at exact frame increments throughout the movie that they happen, and they figured out there was like a hidden sound of somebody saying "shown" hidden in the background of the movie.
Weird.
Which is pretty wild.
Wait, what was that?
Shining?
Oh, that was in The Shining.
Yeah, like when the guy says he calls the kid Doc, and the mom is like, "How'd you know his name? We called him Doc." Right when that happens, you hear someone whisper the word "shown" in the background, and it's at exact increments in frames, like it was trying to be like a hidden message in there. And like right at the start of the movie, they even hint to it because I don't know if you know Carl Jung, but his red book is sitting on the desk of the guy who hires Jack Nicholson's character, and he was big on the collective unconscious.
Wow,
it's pretty weird.
So Bailey, I'm going to tell you a story real quick, and I think you're going to find this interesting. Is I had a friend, and I was talking to this friend, and I was talking about crazy stuff. And this person like stopped talking to me for a little bit because they thought I was nuts. But this person comes back to me and says they've been smoking DMT, they went on an ayahuasca trip, and that they're talking to like entities, and it's learning all this stuff. He starts sharing all this stuff with me, and a lot of it is I'm like completing his sentences, and he's like, "How do you know this stuff?" And I was like, "Well, these are the things that I've heard about, right? Doing the show or doing this." And he goes, "Well, these are things I've never looked up. These entities told me this, that we're all like one consciousness and a lot of that sort of information." So that actually happened today. and those were pretty synchronistic, right? And
that's pretty awesome.
he sent me a video about what's that guy? Oh man, he's like the pioneer of DMT. He's like a very public figure, and one of the things
Terrence McKenna.
Yeah, Terrence McKenna. And he was saying that one of the things that those entities they have a sense of urgency trying to communicate to him, and he's done DMT like hundreds of times, is about language, and that they're trying to teach us something about language, like to upgrade our language. And then Mike and I did a show where an aliens were talking about telepathy. So maybe these beings, these entities are kind of like trying to push us along, every which way, and maybe telepathy is like the standard. But I thought that anyway. I just want to share that because that happened today. I'm gonna forget that even fucking happened tomorrow. Like ADD. So it's just what. Do you think that
reptilians don't have good memories, huh?
No, not short term. No. Maybe if it kicks into the long term, I can remember it. But yeah.
Just trying to keep track of your weaknesses here for when you can meet all of us.
I see.
Boom! Somebody taking notes.
I like that, human. Very, very good. Very good.
Definitely.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Bailey. You're up.
Oh, I was going to say, well, I mean, like a lot of those things I think open us up to different dimensions, if you want to call it that, or whatever it is, different vibrations or whatever. I think a lot of people have like bad trips or good trips on the same thing because it's literally like they're seeing how connected they are to the vibration they're at, So like, when people do those things, it's like they're seeing, the true light in themselves. You know how people like say human is called human because it's man mixed with light or hue? Have you heard of that? Like the hue man?
Yep.
Right.
And it's like, it's almost like this world has cut us off from seeing the light of it. And like you can do meditation, and I know I've done some remote viewing stuff, so I've kind of like seen how this like kind of works, but at different colors is what you could call it, or frequencies, because colors are just different frequencies of light, right? At different frequencies you meet different entities, right? Like red ones, darker entities. Purple is kind of like more benevolent, if you want to call it that. You can kind of tune yourself to different entities that way, and I think that's like how Solomon talked to different demons and angels or whatever they were, right?
Yeah, I think
right.
Interesting to note. So you're talking about like the actual like the way the color changes in the light spectrum, and that's the difference between when we're talking about these vibrations, right? It's simply like a color in the electromagnetic spectrum, or what would you call it? Like the visual spectrum, I guess you would say. And so does that have anything to do? And I ask this because I'm ignorant. Like a lot of this, no, oddly enough, right? A lot of you out there may think, "Wow, Michael Strange knows his shit." I promise you, I don't. I'm like trying to piece all this shit together like you. But is that related in any capacity that you're aware of with that aura? Can people see this? Like, if you're an ascended being, can somebody who's kind of on the path see that somebody else is in that sort of aura sense with colors, or kind of like you're describing there?
Yeah, I think so. And there's things like piezoelectricity where they've measured it. The human body has a frequency that goes to it, and I think that frequency is literally that's the actual you. You aren't your body. You're kind of trapped in your body, if you will, and you are that actual aura. That's like you, but it's really hard to think about because it's not your mental processes that go through your brain. It's the subconscious that is you, right? So you are almost like your higher self is the real you. This is how I see it, and you're always trying to communicate with yourself, but it's really hard to communicate with your subconscious because of the way the body works, and our DNA has been suppressed, right? So, your electromagnetic frequency, the rate that it vibrates is a color, and the different spectrums of color represent your vibrations. That's how I understand it. And depending on which one you're at, you end up in different realms, right? Like the 7 realms or whatever you want to call it I think they call it like the 7 realms of heaven in some religions, or or there's like 4 realms in another religion. I forget the names of the religions, but like there's a lot of different cases where people talk about transcending between realms, and I think it really is just tuning yourself to the frequency of that specific set of beings. And when you say like biological entities, like there's the whole, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it, but there's like a whole group where they call us ISBs, which means immortal self plus biological entity.
Right.
Which is like soul plus body or human. Right.
Now you've done
and
it.
like,
now you've done it. Oh shit. Now we're screwed.
I didn't say it.
No,
I
it's
didn't
okay.
say it.
Go ahead. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, but like, you know, I mean,
You're good.
it goes back all the way to like, you know, the original religions. It's in every religion. And it's like, I don't know. I think it's just our spiritual, our, like you said, our electromagnetic energy vibrates at a frequency. And not only can you raise and lower it, but you can tune it. And the reason people want to raise their frequency is because it's really easy to lower it if you're high up there and bring it back again. But people who are just like stuck at a low frequency can't really raise it easily, right? So you don't have as much maneuverability, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right,
It's
it's
like
like-
having the eye ground, Anakin, right? Go ahead, Ash.
No, yeah, it's like you can only go up so far up and down like in a quick, you know, that's like your base frequency, and that's like probably more of a gradual increase. You know, it's kind of like when you try to lose weight. If you just try and lose weight real fast, you usually gain it right back because that's not like your lifestyle, right? That's not like what you do. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of this this sort of like you know, as these older religions are sort of phasing out to some degree, you know, we're trying to make sense of the world, and you know, people are trying to get to the meat and potatoes behind the religions, behind the things. So it's all very fascinating, and it's pretty interesting. I had a conversation that today. So Bailey, I want to ask you a question. So you've had personal experience with supposedly some beings. What do you think they want with us?
Well, there's different kinds of beings, right? Like when I was a kid, I was, whatever it means, I don't even know what it means, but I was abducted by aliens, whatever that is. And that's like, I literally saw them standing in my room, well, one of them, and like, it was like I was physically there, and I don't think it was a dream. But like in remote viewing, I've contacted entities. I would tell you that I think 90% of them are demons. And if you just kind of like, I mean, I'm not recommending it, but if you just kind of like hang out with them for long enough,
go see for
you'll
yourself.
end up that all the good stuff they tell you is a trick. They just sit there trying to trick you all the time. And when they can't trick you, they just leave when they realize they can't. And they kind of like tortured me in my like teenage years, but nowadays it's like they don't even try anymore, I feel like. But yeah, I think also there's some good ones, but they're very rarely coming. Like they aren't interested really in interfering, I guess I would call it. Like,
Right.
Unless they need to help somebody because they got a lot of people to help, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know. I would say, like, I want to just emphasize that I don't know any of this. This is just my personal experience. But I would say most of them are demons, even if they present to themselves as good. If they like present themselves as like predominantly good, even more so. And I would worry that anything that's called a biological entity, which basically is saying, hey, it doesn't have a soul,
Right.
is probably a demon. Right?
Gotcha.
So I think these aliens are mostly demons.
Like the rule of thumb is, you know, if they're benevolent, you know, they're worried about trying to become more spiritual and stuff like that, they're probably not even going to bother with you, right? They're doing that stuff. So if they're there, they're bothering with you, it's probably out of a more negative intention, right? So yeah.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was going to say, well, if you think of things in terms of frequency, right? If you think of like digital signal processing, the way it works is if you listen to techno and you hear that whoop, 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 whoop sound in a lot of synthesizers, it's because those two sounds, those two frequencies are so close together that they're mixing with each other, right? And I think what happens is if higher dimensional entities come down, they can go back up, but it's almost like painful to be like forced back into that lower frequency, and kind of you get glued to it in a way. You have to kind of unstick yourself away in the same way that any frequency tries to couple to frequencies near it. It's the same way that like I don't know if I can say this, but like some organizations' mind control systems use acoustic modeling in the same way. So at the end of the day, it's like I think that the ones that are coming to you are ones that are like, hey, I enjoy this high vibration you're giving me. And the ones that are high vibrational are like, if I go down there, I'm taking a risk, right?
Right.
I'm with you. Yep.
Oh, like to karmatically tie themselves with, these monkeys, basically.
Well, just because it's hard to escape a low frequency if you get too coupled to it, And I think that's like the splitting into separate kind of multiverses, if you want to think of it that way. The whole 4D, 5D ascension is just people kind of finally detaching from where they've been stuck.
That makes sense. Gotcha. It's funny too. It's funny that you talk in terms of like ascension and frequency and vibration and things like this, and there's all very like rudimentary human like feet on the ground correlations to this too, right? It's like stuck in a rut, right? It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's just that, right? It's like a way for people, regular people. No, and again, like I said, please don't get me wrong. I don't claim to be ascended or any of that. I'm not an ascended master. Please, this is not a cult. It will never be. It's questions. But point being is, people that have never thought of these things, there's still correlations in some of the, the proverbs and some of the fairy tales and some of the folklore that we tell. It's all based in this ascension type of conversation. It's separate, right? It's kind of like it's always like the gateway drug, right? It's always like the gateway drug to ascension.
Yeah.
The fairy tale, the Aesop's fables, this, that, the other thing, right? It seems like no matter what, if you look at things in the right light, that they seem to be pointing in the same direction, right? Regardless. And so it is odd that, even though, as you describe it, like you said, stuck in a particular light, it's stuck in a rut. It's stuck in a rut. It's stuck in like an earthly rut. It's the same thing. It's just a different way of saying it. Good
yeah. And another example of that I think is really good is, when you're like in a low vibrational state, maybe you're depressed or you have a lot of anxiety, you can feel it weighing you down, right? And a lot of people call that facing their inner demons, right? Because I think it's the same thing.
I think so too. It isn't that literally, if you boil down the human experience, it's like just a constant battle with the inner demons, which you could actually equate to the outer demons, the archons. The same aspect, right? They're
the same thing.
It's the same thing.
The despair effect.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. So if you guys like the stuff that Bailey's saying, go back. Bailey was on a show with us with John from the Best Damn Podcast. It's on the podcast feed on our RSS. It's also on YouTube. We talked about the archons in depth. So if you want some actual meat and potatoes regarding that, as Bailey was on the show that night, and we had a lot of good conversation there. So I don't know. So given all this stuff tonight, Bailey, what do you think then? What do you think about the 18th? Is there something to this, or again, do you think it's a concocted marketing? Right, like as always, we consider all the things here. If you had to make a guess, do you think there's something to this, or do you think it's something else?
Well, it's hard to say for sure if there's something to it, but I'm definitely going to be out with my camera on the 17th. And I can say for sure that, with the whole throwaway alien thing, the consistency of it is really impressive, especially from, my perspective, where I'm saying, like, as someone who's been through those experiences and seeing how they explained it, it seems real. But at the same time, it could be some kind of psyop meant to correlate with the timing of all this stuff, right? So it'll be interesting to see on the 18th. I'm not going to say I believe it, but I'm excitedly following it.
Watching the skies. I'm with you. I'm going to have my cameras on the sky in the 17th as well, and be awake and aware. Ash, anything there? We got Jay here to wrap us up, but I don't know. Final thoughts, guys. Final thoughts. Ash, Bailey. You guys go ahead. Kill this.
Oh, that's a good point. It can always be the government fucking around. And that's the thing. It's like, where do the aliens begin and the government ends, and where does the spiritual realm begin? And it's crazy, and it's a tough world. And we got to speculate. We got to figure things out for ourselves because, the world that we live in currently is not an honest one, right? And you got to kind of seek your own path and figure out for yourself. And that's what we're doing. We're here. We're going down the rabbit hole, as the thread said. And we're waiting to see. Let's see what happens. I'll be out on Mars, and I'll be checking my ham radio.
waiting for shit to hit the fan so you could come pick up the pieces.
Exactly.
Oh,
I mean, if worst case scenario, I get to conquer Australia, right? Like at least Australia. I would be happy with that. So that's what I'm waiting for. But yeah, I'm gonna actually bounce. Great show. Thank you, Bailey, for coming on. I was waiting for you to come on and share your information since you were familiar with this stuff and see what you think. Great calls. Thank you, Mike, for having me on. Appreciate it. And I hope you guys all have a good night. And I'll see you at the apocalypse on Sunday. And check out my channel if you haven't subscribed. Please do. I'm going to start live streaming. And I will talk about all kinds of crazy shit. So that first live stream we talked about alien reproduction vehicles, the Fluxliner. The last one we talked about a lot of this last night. So I'll be talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. We have some good videos on there and making some more. And yeah, that's kind of it. Thanks for having me. And I hope you all have a good night.
Thanks, Ash. Appreciate it, bro. We'll talk to you soon. East Coast time, Mars. He's out of here. All right. So we're still here with Bailey. We got Jay. Like I said, here's the thing. Now, here's the beauty of running your own shit, right? Like nobody tells me when to stop. Nobody tells us collectively when the conversation is over. Like I said, this is the great conversation continuing from the 50s. And we do this. If we get continued interest, we'll go late. And that's just it. That's what I'm saying. If it continues, we'll continue taking calls and et cetera, so on. Let's see. No, stay there. Don't go anywhere, Bailey. Stay right there. Are you shitting me? No, don't go anywhere. We got Jay in. Jay, if you're there, unmute, buddy, and you're on the show, and we'll finish the sucker up. We got Bailey here, Jay from New York, and we're talking this. What do you call it? Can you explain this to it? Actually, let's say hi to Jay real quick, and then we'll go back to Bailey. Jay, what's happening, brother? Welcome to the show.
Always with the great stuff every night. Let the mind wander down roads that were never imaginable. It's great.
Amen, brother. Amen.
You start off on one thing and just let it flow. Let people talk and be nice and have an intelligent conversation. This is awesome. Hell it really is.
Hell yeah. So I read the chat earlier from Bailey. Bailey, can you explain to us what what's it called? It's the July AIT.
July AT.
AT. What is this? You were saying it's some kind of like the way the aliens supposedly say this?
Well, yeah, Throwaway Alien said that, my understanding of it was that they said that the aliens have like a weird accent that's hard to understand, which that's kind of obvious. They're aliens. And when they said July 18th, for a long time, Throwaway Alien was like, it's either July 8th or July 18th. I can't understand because it sounds like July AT. And so that's how they always said it. So people started saying July AT because they didn't know which date to say, right?
Okay, all right. That's fair enough. I can buy that because we have accents from different countries and can't even speak, particular languages. And by the way, I only speak like 1.25 languages, Spanish badly, so I can't criticize anybody. Just saying. But if we have accents here on Earth with different languages, it stands to reason, doesn't it? All right, I can buy that. I'll buy that. And that's what this guy said. What's his name? What's the dude's name? From the Reddit thread. Alien. Yeah, that guy. What? Say it again.
It's named because they were a Reddit throwaway account, so they named it Throwaway. Throwaway. There you go. Yeah. So I've got the links, guys. You can follow that stuff on Reddit if you want to do that. But again, that's the point here, right? It's a part of the conversation. Is this real? Is this not? There you go. If you want to remote view with Ash, there's the target number. There it is. All right. So let's. So I don't know. Like we're done here, but like I said, I'm not trying to like run off into the night. If you guys got you guys got shit to talk about, let's talk about it. Is there anything else you want to kind of add to the conversation, Bailey, before we kind of wrap this down? Because like I said,
you are my source with some of the bottom of the rabbit hole stuff. You're sending me things weeks before I even talk about it in many cases. So if you have something to say, something to add here, we got time for you. We got time for you. Jay's here. Jay, we're gonna do the outro with Jay. And if you want to include Jay, go ahead and go with Jay. Let him have it, Bailey. Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, I was just wondering what Jay thinks, but maybe they already said and I didn't hear. But yeah,
No.
also, nah. Oh, okay.
I think that, what we're looking at in the Discord and the people are putting in there and everything else like that, the stuff we're talking about in the shows and everything else like that, the thing that you guys started off the conversation today with the Reddit show, I never heard about it before, because I don't do the Reddit. But we're talking about these things. It's coming more and more. The groups are growing larger and larger. People are talking about things and they're having conversations about stuff that probably would have never happened before. The way that it transitioned later on and to the vibrations and stuff like that. I remember when I was a little kid, there was a haunted thing at the camp and everything else like that, it was found out later on that the trees that the cabin was built out were trees from an Indian tribe that buried trees in their mouths, so they grew, and when the tree died, their spirit went on, but they built a cabin out of it, and Satanic Cult had it for a while, and we used to go in there and, play the Ouija board and everything else like that. And one of the things it was a nutty kind of experience, but one of the things that one of the really older kids taught me when I was really one of the younger kids on the staff there was that you always have to have something in the back of your mind as a focus. So no matter how far you walk down a road, you can always bring yourself back to the focus. And one of the things with the ghost hunter things and stuff like that I've talked about, previously and stuff like that, I've always tried it in the back of my mind, try to keep that. And unfortunately, no, it's not God. It's math and science, because that's the way my brain works. I want to know why. That's always my question, is I want to know why. If somebody is doing these things, if they're, if it's a joke, it's the MK Ultra or the Project Bluebeam or any one of these things that, they got to tell us about for their nonchalant rules, whatever they may be, that they put it in the movies and stuff. That why do you want to fake an alien invasion? Why do you want to have any of these other things go on? What's your purpose? Do you it's that important that you control us? Why?
You want to know my theory?
Yeah.
The alien invasion is that they're going to stage an alien invasion because the real aliens who live underground and are from Earth are going to pretend to come from space and come save us, so people don't know how evil they've been. They're literally going to create a fake alien enemy from space to try to bring up to the surface the people who are in the center of the earth.
These dirty bastards have been here forever and screwing with us.
Well, easy.
Yeah.
We don't got to call people names. Well,
I mean, they're not even here yet, are they? I mean,
depends on who you ask.
Well, I mean, but that's what exactly. Exactly. Anybody seen that movie on the Amazon, the Time thing? The Future War or whatever it's called? I forgot about it. I quoted the show one night just because of what the guy said at the end of the show was kind of cool, but I can't remember. The Tomorrow War. That was the name of the thing.
I heard that's a good one.
It's not bad. Not at all. It's captivating for the hour and a half, 2 hours that it is long.
Yeah.
Not getting up to go to the bathroom. But it's just the time things that are coming out now. Has anybody noticed that? The one where they go back and kill Jesus or something? I haven't watched it, but yeah.
No.
There's all these kind of time things going on right now where all of the new science fiction shows are not about space travel and fancy rocket ships and everything else like that. They're all about bebopping and bumping around through time.
There's a lot of theories about like Donnie Darko and Back to the Future being all tied into current times, but that might be another rabbit hole.
Well, they're all rabbit holes. Christ, we go down into them. Sometimes you're there for hours, days, weeks, months, years.
Notably, I want to make sure that everybody understands that, like, rabbit hole doesn't mean the truth, right? Like, I think we got to be careful of, like I always say, conspiracies are everywhere. However, not everything is a conspiracy. So just that's part of the conversation. It's like the discernment between the two paradigms, right? Speaking of paradigms, we got paradigm shifts in the YouTube chat here. What's up, Christina? It's Christina Gomez, I believe. So Christina says this. If you guys don't know paradigm shifts, Christina Gomez is a notable figure in the UFO community. You can find her on Twitter, also at paradigm. I think it's at paradigm shifts on. I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Christina says this. Just real quick to point it out, guys. Nothing more to this. And then just some genuine good people, veterans who want to motivate new people exposed to the mystery. And so as a result of increased media coverage. And so I think we're referring to the night out, right? The 17th, where we all go out and this Reddit event that we're talking about, which is the NUNO, National UFO Night Out. Is that what we're talking about? So I think that's it. So if you guys haven't followed Paradigm Shifts on YouTube, please do. Christina Gomez working with the debrief.org. I follow them very closely, but I didn't realize you were involved in this. So I don't know if you want to join that Discord or I just closed the phone line, but I can fire it back up if you want to comment. But anyway, just notably, so I guess we have one of the organizers of the event, and it's just a media event, like kind of like I suggested in the beginning of this. I think that we should. These things are good when we all go out and stare at the sky and get together. And it almost seems like we've always said we don't need disclosure from the government if we all go out and look at the skies all the time. We can share the information directly in a forum like this, in a forum like many other people do. We're not the only ones. And be able to just say, hey, look, like here's the footage I got. Can you believe this? And that's really what this is about. This is what this stuff is about. So anyway, I don't know. That's again, follow at Paradigm Shifts on YouTube, and there you go. So I don't know. If you have a further comment on that, you can let me know. And then she adds, Christina says, I helped, like within days of them talking about the idea, Vic Ritchie and Mick Conmee helped set up their Discord. And so there you go. And that's what I'm talking about, right? That's what I'm saying is that I think part of this is it's no longer about the government anymore. They're going to tell us what they're going to tell us, and they're going to try and lock and key and throw things behind, the opaque wall of government bureaucracy. But given us and all of us kind of working together and looking at the skies and cataloging the things we have and sharing the information, we become a larger version of like MUFON, right? I mean, I've had my criticisms of MUFON, how they hide things behind paywalls and make, monetize the things that people send to them. That's not disclosure to me. That's I'll decline to further continue that thought. But you get the idea, right? Like, we don't need the government for this stuff. If we get together, and again, thank you, Christina, for showing up for the stream here. I think that's what we should be doing. And again, spend some time out Saturday night, guys. Go look at the sky, bring your camera, spend an hour, 2, 3, whatever you can spare. And you never know. Like, these are the things that are mysteries of our universe. And all we got to do is go outside and look up at the sky, right? That's really what this is all about. And so as a result, I don't know. Carlos says, no, I don't need my government to tell me what to believe. So without that, there's nothing. Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Christina, for showing up, and for adding to the conversation. Let's wrap this up, guys. Let's wrap this up. What do you think? What do you think, Bailey? With knowing, so I didn't know that. I didn't know that this was like a, quote, official type of disclosure project, right? I didn't know it was part of that community, right? So, in any case, good stuff. I think that's good stuff. This is the type of organization we need, kind of at the grassroots level. It's very much what we're doing on this show, right? What we've always done, building the community and talking about the things, kind of open-ended with an open mind. So let's wrap this up, guys. Just wanted to point that out. What's up? Shout out to Christina. Follow Paradigm Shifts on YouTube, and let's do this. Let's do this. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's get back to it. Nothing?
Yeah. The only thing I wanted to add.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. The only thing I wanted to add was like one other thing that I think is really weird and for me is coincidental here and connects it all is like I would say in May 2020 I started getting like experiences where it wasn't like my abduction where I was like I knew I was physically there, but it was more like being forced into a dream almost where like an alien said they had to like give me a message and I wasn't allowed to know it yet or something. And then like I woke out of it not remembering that part. As weird as it sounds, I think like it's really weird that I was getting a lot of those kinds of experiences like mid 2020 and then all of a sudden this stuff all started happening. And I think, you know, in my personal experience, I think something is developing and going to happen and there's like some reason we were abducted as kids that is going to come to fruition, as weird as it sounds. And I just think like people have to have open minds because the experience of like, as much as it sounds funny, it really is scary to like finally see them, for lack of a better word. And I think people need to be prepared and understand that like humans aren't the only thing that are out there, and just like recognize that as a fiber of their being, and you know to be ready for it if it's true. Because I don't know if it's true, but if it is, I have some kind of personal experiences. There's a lot of weird coincidences. It feels like too much, you know. I guess I would just close with that. That I hope people kind of think about it like for a long time and get ready because it's going to scare a lot of people if it's real.
Yeah, and so from the experiencer perspective, it is one of those things where, you know, for people that haven't been subjected to that, no matter whether you believe it's like an alien phenomena or like a psyop with MK Ultra or even, you know, like whatever you want to call these things, just be aware that there's trauma out there related to this, right? Regarding this thing, and you know, like don't be so quick to just crap on people because they say something that you don't believe, right? Just listen. Just, you know, give people the time and listen, because you don't know what happens to other people, you know. Just because it's not your reality doesn't mean it's not somebody else's reality. So just to kind of bookend that statement there. I just want to make sure people understand that there are some well, I don't know, what would you say? Just some scary things going on in this world, and quantifying it is difficult, and that's what we're here having a conversation about. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Let's finish this.
Oh,
go ahead.
I was just going to say the way I like to think about it is like, and I'm sorry to keep dragging the show on,
you're cool.
But like the emotion that comes with it is very close to the idea of the uncanny valley effect. Like it's so surreal to have first contact and know that it's real, and people just need to be ready to and understanding that like you're going to see something that's humanoid and real and not human, and that's going to blow your mind because it blew my mind, you know.
Yeah, so which is going to scare the hell out of you, right?
It's true.
It's going to scare the hell out of you.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think about too is that we have the opportunity to learn, and the way that I think that we learn is by listening to people. You know, I mean, we have an unbelievable group of people that call into your show and talk in the Discord and the Twitter and the Facebook and all those other apps and stuff like that people have the opportunity to get together and talk about these things now, and that is good because it lets your mind wander a little bit on the things that you already know that you're afraid to admit to yourself. You know, there are things that we've all done, seen, you know, felt that maybe you question yourself about it because it's taboo. You know, you don't want to talk to people at school and stuff like that. Well, I was abducted by an alien, you know, because you know, up until probably a month or so ago when they did the disclosure report, you know, that was bad. You know, people got put out of business, laughed at, jailed, you know, brainwashed, whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of horrible stories about stuff like that.
And that's the world we live in, unfortunately. unfortunately.
Well, I mean, we're still not too probably far away from there. You know, I don't want to walk down that road just because of the whole things that we have to ballerina dance around when we have a civilized conversation.
Take us off of YouTube. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that's the point.
They're listening.
That's the point, you know? I mean, there's the elephant in the room about 90 different things that people should be allowed to have a conversation about, you know? Penny's channel and the thing, you read what the people are talking about in the chat. They're candy dancing around it to have a conversation with people from different areas. And that's not fair. You know, we should be allowed to say whatever we want, especially here. We live in the United States of America. I mean, we have rules that say that we're allowed to talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Don't get me started on the First Amendment, Jay. You know my trigger warnings, man. You know my trigger warnings. Taxes, healthcare, and the First Amendment. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm sorry, Mike.
You're good. You're good. Just a quick point out. What up, Christina Gomez says, paradigm shifts. I'll give you guys an interesting hot tip. Someone I interviewed said to me, watch the night skies with full spectrum cameras if you want to see the things that your own eyes won't normally see. Now, that's the thing, right? We've been talking about this. We got a guy that's been listening to the show for years. His name's Fred. He went and bought, when we talked about this years ago, he went and bought a FLIR camera, and he watches the night sky every night with his FLIR, his infrared camera. And it was a long time before he caught anything, but finally he caught something with his infrared the naked eye could not perceive, and he shared it with us. It's in one of our archives. And, you know, he's one of those guys that's lurked and listened for a long time in the chat, and he finally called us because he's like, dude, I got something. Look at this. And it was literally, he had the two frames with the infrared where you could see an object out there, and then he gave you the regular frame, and there was absolutely nothing. There was not even a shadow of a speck of anything. It was literally invisible. And that's the weird shit. Like, that's the really weird stuff that we're talking about here, and why it's worth going out and having different equipment in different areas, kind of pointing up at the night sky and figuring all this stuff out. But it's real. This stuff is real. It just depends on, right, what kind of real, how deep, and who's running these things, and et cetera, so on. So let's wrap this up. Been a long stream. I appreciate you guys hanging out and being part of this, spending your time with us. Like I said, I always say you could be doing a million other things right now, and I'm honored that you guys spend your time here with us. So let's finish. Let's finish. Jay, we got an outro. I'm gonna play some music, and you give us a quote, my friend. Let's roll this.
They say things are done for the majority. Don't believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. It's like what my painter friend Donald said to me. Stick a fork in their ass. Turn them over. They're done. Lou Reed.
Lou Reed.
You know?
Lou Reed. Good stuff. Good stuff. I appreciate it, Jay. You were the best. Thank you, Bailey. Bailey, would you do me a favor, please? Would you come be on this show more often? You're like the ghost that feeds me my information and shows up at once every 6 or 8 months. Can you do more than that, please? Get your ass on here.
We got to do a show on my abduction.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. You let me know when we'll do it. We will do it. As you know, this is not my show. This is our show. You let me know, and we'll.
If you want.
No, of course I want. Get out of here. I mean, don't get out of here, but you know what I mean. Let's not get out of here. Anyway, yes, absolutely. Let me know when we're going to do it. We'll do it. Thanks again, guys, for hanging out with us. It's been a long night, and the thing is this, right? This is the great conversation. This is the open-ended conversation that continues. We begin at one spot, we end it in another spot. No woo is off the table, and no conspiracy is off the table regarding the government trying to fool us. All spectrums engaged in the conversation. Thanks again for being here. As you know, we'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific on The Fringe, and we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m., and Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific for Troubled Minds News on Twitch. You guys know where to find us. TroubledMinds.org, the official website. Click the Discord link. Get your ass in there. Come say hi. And at the end, there we are. Finishing, as I always like to say. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. still streaming for a sec, guys. I'll let you know. If you want to hang out and chat after, jump in the call or shoot the breeze. I'll come hang out with you guys in Discord for a sec. You want to hang out for a little bit more? If anybody wants to hang out and chat, come to Shoot the Breeze on our Discord, and we'll be hanging out for a little bit longer. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks.
Good night. Pleasure to Monochrome and Mike.
You too.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me, y'all. Hope I didn't bore you too much.
Nah. All right. Simple as that. We're out of here. See you guys tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific. More of the same or more of the different. Tune in to find out.